Welcome to The Night Before Reset, a podcast that was sold to you as a TBC podcast, but the closer we get to September, the more and more we all forget about TBC. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had ridiculous amounts of leaks, and I say leaks because none of us know whether they're true, so we have to assume they're leaks, but there has been some really good evidence, specifically over the last 24 hours from Bellular, if anyone knows who Bellular is, which we're definitely going to dive into, but first, we'll catch up with the guests, and I say guests, they're not guests, they're hosts, they're here every week. It's the same four people, it feels like to me, every week. Tello, how you been doing?
I'm good, man. Just same old stuff. Been playing TBC. We're getting our raids done every week and doing arena and chilling, hitting cap, and just prepping for phase 3. Other than that, life's been really good. How about you, McNulty? How you been with TBC?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I haven't really played TBC much this week. I give leadership of my guild away, and then I leveled up a character on Wrath. And for the last week, I've been tryharding on hardcore as well. I was also sick and dying for most of the week, so I kind of disappeared as a content creator.
Ooh.
I'm still not over the hump, but I'm still here. Hammer Dance, what about you, mate?
Yeah, man, we are oddly similar in our past couple of weeks. I was sick as a dog for like 7 days. I still feel it. You know what I mean? I'm still recovering. And I also disbanded my guild. Huh?
Didn't you give it to me, did you?
I did, yeah. I think I gave it to you on the last show, and that's it. It was brutal. It was like 7 days of hell. But yeah, I also disbanded and gave away my guild, just like you. And then I joined another guild. I trialed with them for 2 weeks, and it just really wasn't my vibe, because I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to really learn that classic WoW, when it's not new, is definitely about the boys, right? It's about like playing with your friends, and if you're not with your friends anymore, I'll be honest, I was not having a good time, so I just quit that guild, and now I'm in a point where like I think I'm kind of like you guys, where I don't even know if I'm going to do my lockouts this week or what. Maybe I'll just take a break, come back later on. I have no idea what's going on, but it's been one kind of roller coaster time for me.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same, but not exactly the same. As in, I still want to play the game and I still want to raid, but that is literally all I want to do. And like part of Nolte stepping down as sort of then everyone's looking at a couple of people in the guild, which obviously one of which is me. And I'm like, do you know what? It's just too much effort. It's too much effort to do this content for me personally, maybe the 9th or 10th time. You know, as in original TBC, classic TBC, and then multiple private servers, and then anniversary. My other guild, though, that I'm in, on the Druid, I haven't actually raided with for 2 resets now, but that's because of sort of like things that have been going on in my life. Mainly idiotic kids, but anyone who watches the stream will know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into it on a podcast. But I've also been leveling on Wrath. I'm going to put it in air quotes. I mean, no, he didn't put it in air quotes, but it sounded like it needed to be. I've been playing, a lot on a Wrath private server, just because, I'll be honest with you, I think TBC feels so stale at the moment, and I don't think even rushing a new phase, like, I don't know if you boys have seen it, but they have put out the PTR already, and if they've said it was for add-on developers, which is one of the most random things I've seen in all of the time of me playing Classic, when they've put up the next phase on the PTR, but there's actually no content there, but they say that it's so add-on developers can start getting add-ons ready for a phase 3 environment. I thought that was a bit weird, personally. I can't personally recall where I've seen that happen since 2019. But I don't know. I see TBC on a little bit of I don't want to be negative, but I can only go by the numbers on Ironforge Pro, and I see it on a little bit of a downward trajectory at the moment. And I did say this a couple of weeks ago. I said, I feel like this is the point where people are going to start to get bored. The content is far too easy, and I'm feeling it. Like, I don't want to raid on 2 characters. Like, 1 is enough. Going in and doing SSC and TK. That's why, I'm kind of elsewhere. And even though that content's easy as well, I'm paying. By the way, the RAF server I'm playing on is like post nerf. Most of the bosses are bugged. It's fairly shit. But so it's not about challenging content. It's just about doing something a little bit different, you know.
Yeah.
But no,
It's about
come on,
yeah,
you're.
for sure.
Oh, sorry, Tello. No, go on, Tello.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I wanted to say to Naughty is because like he's playing there as well. And is it because of you feel like there's just nothing that you want to do on TBC, or?
Look, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but and this is the way I like the game to get this way. It's just raid log time. That's what it is. You know, you work my 9 to 5, come home, you know, maybe do 1 or 2 days of raiding. Cool. Like that's the way I want WoW to be. And TBC is in that way, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. If anything, I'm looking forward to it. The reason why I'm playing Wrath is because we've got to that stage. You know, it's my other thing to do outside of what I love, which is raiding. You know, it's not a bad thing. I don't say it and be like, oh my god, I'm only raiding on TBC. It's like we're at the place I want to be, and now I'm doing stuff outside that. Maybe other people will probably play a different game. I'm a loser. I'm gonna play another WoW. So that's it.
Yeah, makes sense. So, what have you been playing to fill the time, Hammer? Because you said like, you know, you're kind of in a similar spot to Naughty. Are you
Yeah,
just doing hardcore?
yeah,
Are you on a Sod Fresh event or anything like that?
No, I'm not doing the sod fresh as much as I want to. I'm kind of just I just want to save my like hype for that kind of stuff for when we do get it, like a classic plus. So yeah, I've been in terms of WoW, I've been playing hardcore. I've actually leveled 2 characters to 24 and died both times now, at the exact same spot each time. And the second one was because I left my character, like I was at the character login screen and I like left my office to go get like a drink of water, and then my kid came in here and hit enter world, and just logged me into a bunch of Murlocs, and I came back and my second warrior was dead at level 24.
You can't blame the kid. You can't.
Yeah,
blame
I
the
know.
kids,
It
mate.
was
You can't,
enticing,
like,
yeah.
That's
That
not
button-
cricket. You can't do that.
Have
Yeah.
you lost 2 warriors in Red Ridge? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Only the first one I lost while I was playing. The second one, I logged out right before I started to do that quest. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get some water. I'm going to log out. He was on the switch behind me or whatever. I went to go get water. I come back. He's sitting in my chair, and my second warrior is dead in the exact same spot. I was like,
I have lost.
you've got to be kidding me. Yeah.
And you will never see
least.
Hammer dance his child again.
So
Goodbye.
yeah, so this time I've actually I started a priest, which has been my hardcore character. It's the only class I've never played in my like 20 years of playing this game past level 10. And I'm level 17 and I'm still alive. It's the most boring thing I've ever done in my life, I'll be honest with you.
Have
But
you ever pressed wand?
grim.
Like, have you ever pressed shoot before? Like,
yeah, I mean that's really all it is.
Cool.
But
You've played priest.
I wanted like the complete opposite of warrior, because I was just like, I can't do a third one and die in the exact same. Like I just can't do it again. So I'm playing a priest, and then aside from that, like if I don't feel like playing WoW, you guys know I play like Rust and Tarkov and all those kind of games as well.
Cool. Yeah. Tello, how have you been filling the time, or have you you feel like all your time has been filled on TBC?
I mean, I've been playing, TBC pretty consistently. I still been doing my mana tombs here and there. Believe it or not, I actually still live in that god awful place, but that's kind of the thing for me to do to make actual gold and just chill. But outside of that, I play other games too, and I think I wanted to follow up a little bit more on what you were saying earlier too, Scotty, where it's like, at the end of the day, you're allowed to play other video games outside of WoW. There's nothing wrong with being accepted of the fact that we're at TBC right now in the current stage where everybody is raid logging. If you're playing 2, 3, 4 characters, that's awesome. If you're a very consistent arena player, that is great as well. And that's where TBC really is. That is the content. I know sometimes the idea of like WoW gets oversold as like, oh my God, there's 1,000 things to do. But in reality, that really is the end content, and it's okay accepting the fact that that is it. We cannot lie to ourselves any longer and say like, oh my God, there's a million different ways to approach the game. When in reality, you see the end cap, you see the ceiling. That is the ceiling. That's the reason why people even talk about Classic Plus to begin with, because we want to break through that ceiling. So yeah, I still love the raids that we're doing. I do think TK is kind of I grown a a dislike towards TK more than SSC. I actually enjoy SSC more than TK recently because I just think TK just kind of like whatever. Let's just get it done. And plus, the loot in there is really not all that special except KT himself and maybe the trinket for rogues in there. But outside of that, yeah, just doing that. And in terms of other games, I've actually been playing RuneScape Dragon Wilds with my friend. I've been playing Mecha Chameleon, the little art game, just fill in my days when I'm not playing WoW. And then I go
People have
back
been
to
trying to get
TBC.
me to play that as well. Yeah,
Dude,
we had a bit of a
yeah,
party stream the other night, and everyone was trying to
yeah.
get me to get it.
Dude, it's a
It
fun
looks,
I
it
did it.
looks good.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's
I think we
fun.
probably should. Scott.
Yeah, we
I
will.
mean,
We will.
dude,
We will.
dude.
On a Thursday night, Nolty. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys definitely should. Like, why not, bro? Like, dude, you know what's something funny I noticed? Every WoW gamer I've ever met, they love WoW. They play WoW. It's their game, and no one's denying that. But they also play other games, bro. Like, so many WoW gamers I've bumped into, they play Rust. They play, like Cameron said, Tarkov, or they play indie games, or they've played other games that like I didn't even know that existed, and they've told me they played as well when they're not just playing WoW. So I don't think there's anything wrong with playing World of Warcraft, but also mixing in variety with other video games because there comes to a point, at least with classic, right? It's not like retail, right, where you could do 1,000 different things actually outside of doing AOTC, doing your Mythic Pluses and all that stuff. But you can like level up 18 different tunes and just level up and go through your Mythic Pluses and shit. But with classic, eventually you do hit that cap. There is just an unfortunate hard cap that was meant to be the end of the game before the developers decided at that current day and time, we got to come up with new content, guys. We got to make a new patch for our gamers. So that's just the way TBC rolls, and we go through it wave by wave. So I'm just enjoying the motions, is all I can really say.
Yeah, use normal people go and play other games. Me and Nolty find a new private server.
True, yeah, another private server.
And then we
I
play
used to be
WoW
like
all
that,
over again
but
from level 1.
I think one version of WoW for me is good. Like I can't see myself doing the SOD event, and like you said earlier, when it comes to SOD and me, it's a rough one because I started my channel on SOD. Like that's who I was. I love Season of Discovery. I just can't go back for it for a month or two and then go to Classic Plus. Like it would just hurt me again.
Well, while Blizzard are handing out, cease and desist and shutting down every private server, man, I actually got mega excited today over. I'll shout out. I don't really care. Well, shout out / maybe get shut down. Frostmourne are doing like a kind of RAF Plus server that's coming soon. And I just clicked on it. I clicked on the website and was like, "Oh my god! Like I'm in. I am in. Like this looks so good." But I do like I'm gonna be until Blizzard give me something that satisfies me constantly. Yeah, I'm always gonna be a private server player. It's nice, like we've all ended up back on RAF again, and I've been having a really good time, and that's what fills the time for me outside of TBC because I honestly feel like the time really needs to be filled. Yeah. I always look at TBC through, I don't know, rose-tinted glasses, and I'm like, man, it's perfect, but it's actually far from it.
Dude, I did the same thing.
In all seriousness.
Going into this, I was like, I talked about it for months. I'm like, it's weird because it still is. Like, if I had to say, it's my favorite expansion in WoW, but it's my favorite expansion in WoW based off of how I used to feel and play the game. Like, now, playing this the third time, I'll be honest, it is not my favorite version. I think Wrath is so much better than TBC in terms of just gameplay and fun, and like my favorite version of WoW itself is to me, you guys know I love vanilla, like that is my thing. But when it comes to expansions, I went into this saying TBC was my favorite. It is not. It is definitely Wrath over TBC for me.
I mean, and yeah, you've changed very quickly.
Yeah,
I understand.
But here's the thing. Scotty. I don't know if that's because of TBC or if it's because I've had such a weird, like my social time playing this time has been really weird. You know what I mean? Like I haven't got to like play with a set group of people that I like am friends with and shit. So it's been really, really weird. Like I'll be honest, if I was still with my original raid, I would be enjoying it more. But definitely, like you said, rose-tinted goggles for me for sure this third time. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but I don't want to do another character.
Nostalgia's a bitch.
It is, yeah.
That's it. I think nostalgia's a bitch. That's what it comes down to. We all want that fresh. We all want something where it's like, oh, you're going in with a bit of familiarity, and you're looking forward to, like while you was doing carry, you was looking forward to SSC and TK, and then it came out first week. You was like, yeah, that was okay. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine
Oh, yeah,
anyone done
for sure.
SSC and TK and was like, that was amazing. My God, that was everything
Yeah,
that I was
no.
expecting. Like, we need new. We need new, and we're going to get new, and it's going to be spoiler. Arthur's Round Table or something. I can't remember. We'll get onto that. It's got a weird name. Right, that's what we was doing, and that took far too long. So we'll go on to the news, which there's not been like ridiculous amounts, but there's been some interesting things that I think we should at least cover. So Season of Discovery, have any of you kept up to date with kind of the fresh event that's going on that any of you want to talk about? Again, I haven't played it personally, but
No, I haven't played it, but I do know. I'm pretty sure today they were starting their like phase 2, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Are they okay?
Yeah, I think at least maybe one of the guilds was. I saw like the post on Wowhead. But I personally am not playing it. But yeah, apparently if you're on that and you're in this guild or whatever, you're starting your phase 2 journey where you're allowed to level up to I think it's 40, right? And you're going to be doing Nomer. But other
The
than
only
that,
thing I saw about it, is that it was popping off. I know Guzu himself had like 6 guilds of just full of people.
yeah, I think he's actually up to 13 now. He has like 13
that,
guilds.
so
Yeah.
like it's popping off.
and
That first phase though
how
is
many
pretty
guilds can you
banging.
have? Is it sorry? How many people in each
1,000 in
guild
each guild.
until it's full?
Yeah,
1,000.
1,000 in each. Yeah. So between everyone, there's probably a good 20K plus
20K,
on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
it
is
looks like
good.
they're having a
So
good time.
so in that I'm assuming, so like what I'm looking at now, so I'll get back to a Season of Discovery build has been found, like we'll talk about that in a sec, but I did look at Ironforge Pro, and if that's right what you're saying about the numbers, I assume only Scarlet Enclave shows on Ironforge Pro then, and not Black Fathom Deeps, because if there's that many people that are being claimed to be played in all of these guilds that are guild capped and you need to start new guilds, then Ironforge Pro must only track Scarlet Enclave.
Maybe. Depends on the logs, I suppose, right?
I don't think so. I think it's tracking everything. I do think that there's.
Well, if it's tracking everything, I mean, there's only two, and it's only gone up by 2K.
Yeah, it's at like
a
what,
leveling
5,000.
dungeon, so I don't think they would track it. It's now a leveling dungeon. Remember that like the category of it has changed. It's not like a raid anymore. It's like a leveling dungeon.
I mean,
Well,
It's not
either
max level.
way, either way, there's about 2,000 more people doing Scarlet Enclave then.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the main core of the group are still at 25. There was some people, I think like Joker let you go to max level and continue on, but all the guilds have different rules. But Guzu specifically, from the person I've been sort of watching the odd YouTube video of, he's still at level 25.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
because it started at 40 today, and I can only apologise for anyone who's actually watching on YouTube, and you can see my favourites. And I've got 2023 best top 10 pub walks.
That sounds like a great time.
I
right
think,
now. That sounds like a great time.
I like to walk, I like to drink.
So I'm looking on Warcraft logs, Nulty, and it does track them as raids. So that has to be everything. So if it's only showing, yeah, so it's showing about what 4,700 raid logs. I would assume that there's a lot of people like not logging BFD. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, they're probably
There's
just
a lot.
not.
No, there's a lot. I looked before the podcast, Hammer. There is a lot of people logging BFD.
So if there's a lot of people logging, so then maybe it
There's
is
a
only
lot of
Only
people
2K.
logging.
All them guilds are only 2K raiders.
yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I thought that was the case until you said that like Guzu had 13 guilds
Yeah.
of 1,000 people, and then it's like what? Like what? And there's only 2K people raiding out of all of those guilds.
I mean,
Like,
think
that's-
about it though.
don't
That
make
probably
sense.
makes sense. There's a lot of people who just like jump on like the streamer hype and like leveling a character, and you know what I'm trying to say. I feel like most of these people aren't gonna raid.
Was the dates before the event?
What do you mean?
Before the event started, like was the dates on the Ironforge Pro showing before the event started?
This is
or-
up to the 23rd of the 6th.
Okay, so
20,
they
yeah,
were doing, they were
20.
doing,
Yeah, it went up. Scotty's
They were-
right by like 2,000.
yeah, they were doing it, so that's accurate then.
It's a tiny
So I
little
think
blip.
it-
Wow.
I
Okay.
think it was showing its accurate, and it started on the 19th. Go said. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, to be honest, like I think it. Listen, I don't think what they're
Well,
doing.
2K
is,
in
like,
4 days is massive, right?
no, yeah,
Yeah,
that-
so
that's a
so
good-
it
that's a
so
good
it so
thing.
it could spike. The next 2 weeks we see could spike.
Could
It's just
spike,
when I
yeah.
looked at the Wowhead
Yeah.
post saying a resurgence, and then I looked at the numbers, I was like,
Yes,
that's
and that.
it's not really a resurgence, is it? I mean,
Why'd you say it like
Yeah,
that?
so-
understand resurgence.
It has to
You
be
say
that,
it like
man.
that,
I
though.
think when this next round comes in, we'll see probably close to 10K at least, I would imagine.
He said a resurgence. A resurgence.
Here's the thing as well, though. Like,
resurgence, and then didn't see the bar move. Like, that's how big the resurgence is. The bar
Oh,
is literally the
stop.
same.
Stop.
but like, they must be smashing the raid because they're using the end game talents. Like, I reckon
Oh,
you 5-man
God.
that raid now. Like, you've all of
probably,
the.
yeah.
You have everything. You've everything at level 25. You get all of it for 1 copper at the start of leveling. You must be smashing at the bits, but.
I do want to say though, I still think it's great, and I'm not just
Yeah.
saying that. You know, I think it's great that people are doing this because, like I said 2 weeks ago, they feel exactly the same. I've gone to private servers. They're like, "Fuck this! Yeah, we're gonna bring SOD back." You're not gonna bring SOD back, but you know, it's gonna tide you over until September. That's
Yeah.
what we're all doing. We're all just
yeah.
trying to tide ourselves over until September.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all it is. If you can keep yourself entertained until then, you're winning.
Yeah.
But what I will
think so.
bring up is the Wowhead post saying a new season of Discovery build has been found. Is Blizzard planning on adding additional content? Like, come on.
No.
No.
With the resurgence,
2K people, dude. 2K people.
Stop.
Probably
Like,
want new
it just is- dude, honestly, this is where it's like when too much cope becomes actual dope. You know what I mean? It needs to
Yeah.
like stop. We need a pause.
Yeah.
I understand the Phase 9 phenomenon since the day Scarlet Enclave got announced, it was gonna end, and this is just more than likely a patch, like Scotty's about to say, when it comes to
Bug fix.
fixing the XP bug.
Yeah.
Like, why
Exactly
would
that.
you announce a Phase 9 after Agron put out a literally Lord of the Rings paragraph of the 3 Collector's Edition movies into one Wowhead post saying, "We're done with Season of Discovery. We reached the
Hey,
culmination. It's finished." Why would
Hello.
you do a mysterious patch 9? It just, come on.
Hello, I don't need that from you. You're the SOD guy. I need 6 videos.
I
need
wish.
I need copium. I need all of
I
it. You need,
w-
you need to be hitting this full speed.
Bro,
Phase 9's
this-
coming.
dude,
Let's go.
Take me back to SOD day 1, BFD. Like, things are great. Finding runes. Nobody's finding anything on Wowhead. Wowhead's confused. Everyone's confused, and we're all just running around with like MW2 chickens with our heads cut off, and it's beautiful. It's great. I loved it. Probably the most genuine time of WoW ever. But my God, like, we got to be realistic here. I'm happy with the event. I think Goose is doing a great thing. At the same time, this is not a Phase 9.
It's
Simple as
not.
that. It's not.
We need to let it
because
die.
you just can't do that, can you? You can't say no. That's the end. That's the end of the road, and it's like, oh, what? They're playing the game again. Okay, let's develop more content. It's like, well, they didn't. No one stopped playing the game. You could have developed the content then. That's how I look at it. It's like
Yeah.
when everyone was playing, that's when you develop the content. Not everyone quits, and it takes a few streamers to start an event, and it
Yes.
will be exactly what Tello said. It'll be the fact that the NPC where you turn your XP off has been fucked since when they put it in, and they're fixed. They might do some other stuff. There might be other bugs that have been found that people have complained about, and they'll put 10, 15 minutes work in, just to
But
fix
isn't-
a few things.
Isn't that exactly what Classic Plus is?
Go on.
That people return to Era and Astralis and all that, and now they're developing more content for an older version of the game. Isn't that exactly what Classic Plus is?
Not in my opinion.
A
No,
couple of thousand people get back.
No, it's an interesting topic, but I would not in my opinion. I mean, it's not a couple of thousand, and it weren't purely driven by Twitch
Boredom.
streamers, influencers, YouTubers, whatever. I mean, the stars aligned with how everything worked out with Classic 2019.
Yeah.
But in terms of Classic Plus, I'd imagine that's something that's been thought about before we even termed or coined the phrase Classic Plus. Surely, like as the developers at Blizzard, you would like to think they were even thinking, man, if we could start again, what would we do?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I would. I don't even think the success of Classic has necessarily made that happen. It has. Don't get me wrong, but I do think at some point down the line, even if we didn't get Vanilla 2019, if that never happened, at some point there would have been some sort of reset, and it's the reset that I see happening, but no one else agrees with me with. We're gonna
What do
get
you
into
mean?
that.
Oh yeah, I want to know about
everything
this.
I say. Yeah. Trust me. My view of it is extremely unpopular, and I've spoke to people far bigger than you would imagine about what my view on it is, and no one's agreed with me.
Wow.
Not one person.
Nobody can
So
see
we will get into that.
Scott's hat.
No. It's more the fact that I look at what it should be rather than what people who have played on Nostalrius and private servers want, based purely on numbers. Which we honestly will get to, but we'll carry on through the news at the moment if there's anything else we want to talk about. Which most of it is leaks,
Yep.
which is the main topic. There has been a summons request against Ascension personnel. So this is not Ascension as a company now or as a private server. This is the actual people that work there. Again, I'll hand over to you, Tello, because you like the last podcast, you knew far more about this than any of us. Is this what you was kind of expecting, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, it's no hate to anybody that enjoys Project Ascension, and then if you enjoy that quality of the game, more power to you. But obviously, this is now an illegal matter where it kind of our opinions and our feelings are irrelevant to the situation, where Blizzard is going to take every action in order to make sure that they are recovered from the damage that have been done to them. Now, I've seen a lot of the comments, everyone saying, "Oh, well, you're sticking up for the big old Blizzard, and you're crying for the billion-dollar company getting hurt again." At the same time, that's just the way this stuff goes. I mean, you open up a store and have a successful shop, run it for many of years, and then let a person open up the same store next to you and call it the same exact name, the same food, the same chair, the same color, the same menu, the same everything, and then say, "Oh, you could stay there, do the same exact thing and have no problem," And I just think, I know it's a tough conversation, but at the same time, we talked about this on the last podcast. These guys had poor management of their location. If they wanted to be this true private server that was completely untouchable, why didn't you just operate from Russia? Why didn't you just stay in another country, a third party country or third world country? You didn't need to operate in the US, but the reason why you have to operate in the US is because that's where the dollars come from. That's where the money comes from. That's where the marketing comes from. Turtle Wow understood this too. If you cut the legs off the spider, you no longer have a body. You no longer have connections that can spread through every area so you can get the promotional material. When it was Turtle Wow, it was the guy in Michigan. Now it's the guy over here. It's multiple guys, but at the same time, it's only one dude in Sydney, Australia. So all your team is located in the US and you're acting in the eyes of Blizzard, the beholder, illegally towards them. So this is something that I just expected. I think a lot of other individuals who are covering it expected this as well. And we'll see what happens, but I'm willing to bet in the next month or so we're going to get that post from the typical Twitter post and Wowhead post of saying that Ascension's closing up shop. I just don't see them lasting much too longer.
Did you find it interesting, Hammer? I don't know if you've seen it, but I'll just throw it over to you. That the Ascension literally put a new trailer out in like the last 8 to 10 hours. It's very recent. It's in the last 24 hours at least. Sort of promoting the fact that come and play on our server. You can have all the stuff for free. Like one more sort of hurrah.
Yeah, Conquest of Azeroth or whatever. I saw. I didn't watch the video, but I did see it. It says like 21 new classes and all this stuff. How do you know that it's all free? Everything in there is free. Did you watch the video?
Yeah. Well, it said right at the start. I watched about the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes, if I'm completely honest, and it said as like a disclaimer at the start, you'll get the Conquest of Azeroth deluxe bundle and a couple of other things like you know
Free.
that now you can have all that
Interesting.
completely free. And then I sort of skimmed through the comments. Like I said, the last time we spoke about this server, I'd never played on it. I was like leaning on you guys to tell me like what it was about. But yeah, I looked at the start of the video and it was almost like they was like, "Please come and play,"
But what would be the benefit of that?
knowing
Why-
they're
why-
going to
why
be
would they
shut
care?
down.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
I
What's the
don't
benefit?
know. Yeah, that was the bit that I didn't understand. You know, you literally said exactly my thoughts. It's like, well, if you know you're shutting down, is there a final cash grab there? Is there stores still
that's what I was
open
going to say. Yeah,
where
like,
you can buy stuff? I don't know.
yeah, maybe
Well,
there
that's
is.
What I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm once again, to anybody who is more knowledgeable than all of us when it comes to Project Ascension and this last hurrah update or whatever they're doing. If there isn't a shop, then obviously we're wrong on this. But if there is a shop, then it's right to look at it with that mindset, because then you ask yourself the question: if a person's in a lawsuit and they're getting hit by Blizzard from all angles, which they're not going to win, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And they're going to at some point cave in eventually because it's Microsoft and Activision and Blizzard. Like, this is bigger than their whole team. Like, they just don't have the assets for that, and they know there's these individuals' locations. So at that point, you have to ask yourself the question: is this promotional thing a last way to just get money from people as much as they can to help with their case? Let's say they do show up in court. They need as much money as possible for their lawyers. No one's thinking about this type of stuff too, for their trial or their like end of the bargain, you know? So they need as much money that they can work a deal with Blizzard. So yeah, in their sense, it could be a panic move, a panic grab. And to be honest, I'm used to these kind of things personally myself, because I came from a place that had almost a similar like thing, but with an even more douchebag of a CEO with Steven Sharif and Ashes of Creation. I was over there. Everybody was like saying like, this game is the next big thing. It's huge. It's massive. Oh my God, it's changing the way we look at things. You know, don't play
I was
WoW.
there.
Don't
I was
do
with
this.
you.
Yeah, and Crix was there, and even Pirate Software and all these other guys were there. But shout out to a lot of people that were playing at the time. We enjoyed our time there. But I mean, I'll say this, man, like the way that company caved into, wind up being a massive douchebag. Wind up being a complete troll to the entire community, didn't care about any of us. And these servers are located in a storage unit, by the way, right now when we were playing Ashes, which is terrible conditions. Outside of that, I just think I'm not surprised when you see the video. It got lots of views, by the way. I know you guys noticed that. Like that video got like, I don't know, 80K views, 90K views. It did it really good, and that's great for them. But they need all the money from that algorithm too. They need the monetization. They need anything possible from their audience. So this is, in my eye, just a ways to squeeze the lemon out of their private server antes.
If it was a cash grab, why didn't they just say so? Why didn't they say, hey, we need all the money we can get. Come over, we've got an event going. Give us some money. I would have probably paid for it. Like, if they had just been honest, just been like dead on about it.
Help us.
We're in for the battle of our lives here. Let's go. Get over here. We're going to do some special events. Closing down sale. We're going to give you 2 t-shirts for the price of 1.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of true though. Yeah.
I'll give them money, probably. Yeah.
I would be doing anything to get as much money as possible. I'm talking, backdoor illegal activities. I'm talking possible sex shoots at the Stormwind Cathedral. It doesn't even matter at this point, all right?
That's on the mailbox.
Yeah, you get to see the unboxing for $9.99. You get the greatest time of your life. I'm willing to go the full 9 yards. I'll do whatever it takes to get Blizzard, a massive company about to ruin my entire livelihood. Now, I know that one guy who's in charge of them. He's living in like some $5 million mansion. If you heard Dutch,
$5 mansion.
Yeah, $5 mansion. Yeah, he's living in like some like rich luxury place. But no matter what, man, it's just I don't feel bad because once again, I came from Ash's Creation. I saw the toxicity and all the BS that was promised there from Kickstarters and how they're gonna revolutionize MMOs and all this dumb stuff failed, never happened. And where's all the Ashes people at? They're gone. It's all cope. And now I'm looking at Project Ascension. I'm seeing them doing well. But in my eyes, when I look at it from the business perspective, everyone's saying, oh, bad Blizzard, evil Blizzard, terrible Blizzard. Meanwhile, they try to do everything they can to involve their life around Blizzard, whether it's private servers or not. So they all lie to themselves when it comes to this. And then obviously they have a hate towards Blizzard because of, you know, the expansions in the past. I get it. But no matter what, man, you can't defeat this case.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that Blizzard is doing. Even like, I don't know if you even saw, they're shutting down smaller private servers, like real small end private servers that has anything to do with any potential Classic Plus or Camelot idea in the next couple months to come. They don't want anybody competition. They're trying to erase it.
No, but that's what gets me as well, is that they go after their competition. Like, why? They're not going after all of the private servers, you know. They're only going after their competition, which gets me. It feels like they're fearful that their
I
bottom line
also
could be...
do think, though, that there's some of those servers that are shutting down on their own terms. You know, like
Which is fine.
I've seen some of the smaller ones, that have shut down. I do question whether they've had cease and desists.
Could have got like a letter
You
to
know,
the
as
post.
in, no, I question whether they've had anything. They're just like, do we want this hassle? Like, we might as well just.
Oh, you're
there's
saying
small
like
servers with like 100 players.
Yeah, I could see
where
that.
they're like, we're not making any money anyway.
Mhm.
Like, we'll just shut down. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
there will be
Yeah.
some like that.
There is that aspect too, where it's like, you got to remember too, like the more humane aspect, where if you have a group of people, like let's say us four, for example, we made a private server, and now out of nowhere, like, we didn't expect it to blow up, but in a week or two, now you're having like 100,000 people wanting to be a part of the private server, 200,000 people. We only have a couple servers for like 10 to 15K, and on top of layering, on top of whatever style of, like, you know, how WoW does with sharding and their layers, like whatever network structure that we're going for, that's really a hard task to manage with only 3 to 4 people. Not even indie studios can handle that many content updates. If you look at what's their name from the indie studio, Valheim, it took them months to almost years to, and they're like 3 guys for their company to come out with like the smallest of little update or patch or even a big one. So I think, yeah, a lot of those private servers that are on the smaller spectrum, they probably shut down because it's just too much work for them. It's not, they're not getting good money from it. So why hassle, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Can't get that many people to watch this
covers the
video. Never mind run a private. Never mind run a private server.
yeah, but I mean, it's hot. It's hot at the moment. That's the thing. Like, people are going to flock from one to the other, and even if you lose 30% along the way, there'll come a time where it gets to that small private server that had 50 people playing, and it will blow up. You know, and then it's like, now we've got all the legal shit to deal with. Like, I think there's quite a few servers that have just gone, no, fuck this, just thrown the towel in, which is the right thing to do. But they're definitely not going after all private servers, because there's still many.
They're going
of
after
the big ones.
competition.
There's a lot out there,
gonna
man.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, are you guys on OctoWow now? I heard it's gonna become SpiderWow after OctoWow goes down. Did you hear about that?
Never heard of it now.
TurtleWow
never heard of it.
is now OctoWow.
Oh my
OCTO
God.
WoW. The people that made TurtleWow, they've changed to OctoWow, and it's their TurtleWow website, but it's completely OctoWow now. So they said, all right, you shut down the turtle, but now we transform.
They still got the radio station going live or what?
I think they did.
radio
They might.
station was
They
fire.
might.
It
was badass,
I
yeah.
think OctoWow's the future. Sign now, in today.
Yeah,
Is it
let's
Classic
go.
Plus though?
It might be. Who
No,
knows?
is it Camelot?
Oh,
Not Classic Plus. We need to stop talking about it as
Ooh.
Classic Plus. We need to start talking about it as Camelot, which is where we're going to go now.
yes.
That's enough of the news. There's the midsummer event. Like, go and do that.
Yeah,
if
get some
I
XP.
don't know,
level
fucking
up.
Was
bored,
there
do what
8
you want.
nights? Was it 8 nights around the round table? Was it 8? Was it 8 nights in the round table?
8?
Was it 8?
It might be 8.
Because if it is OctoWow, then boys are ahead of Blizzard again, but
Dude, look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Conspiracy.
I'm going to hand over while I step away for a second to Tello. So we're gonna get into now the leaks. The fact that I'm not going to say we think Classic Plus is called Camelot. I'm going to say we know it's called Camelot.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a lot of things come out that are just legit Spellular, who I mentioned at the start, done a video, and if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. A lot of detective work that's gone into that to even find the legitimacy of the person that leaked it. But go on, Talo. What do you think
Yes.
about everything we found out?
Yeah, I think the Project Mainline Camelot news is actually it's really exciting because when WoW players there's not much to discuss or even in like the content side of things. It's like seeing a new subject that is an open conversation to have a good talk about is really interesting. And I think that the fact that there was that image online that we've all seen, there was also the fake image that Jerdy already declassified with that. That was completely fake. It was the more high def resolution one. I'm not sure if Scotty's showing on screen, but it's fine. But outside of that, there was that high res one, which was completely fake. We obviously knew that was like really just not real.
Yeah.
I mean, with AI nowadays and people doing stuff with several programs, it's hard to believe what's real and what's not, unfortunately. But
You know the funny part with that, Tello, is that I took
Yeah.
both of those, right? Because I had made a video talking about the leak right when we first heard about it, but I didn't show the image in my video because I didn't want to show it because I was like, I don't know if this is like, I don't know. I just didn't want to give credit. If it was completely fake, I didn't want that person to be like, oh, cool, I got someone to make a video about it. So I didn't show it in the video. But then I made one showing it after I felt like it was real because I took both images, right? And I put them into Claude and I was putting them into ChatGPT. I literally, both AIs that I was using came back with a 75% chance. Claude, I think, was 70, and then ChatGPT was 75, that the one that we think is real is actually real. The other one, the high def one, it came back and it was like, there's a 95% chance that this was made with AI and it's fake.
Dude.
The other one though, yeah, like AI was straight up like, there's a 75% chance this is real, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I could see it. And I tried to like reverse engineer it a million different ways. And I was like, you know what? I think this leak is actually real. Like this one is like a real, and then we saw, like that it was posted a year ago as well and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, the legitimacy for me was which one came first. Because for me it was if Camelot was data mined first and then the picture, or the picture then Camelot, you know what I mean? So if the picture was out first, that gave a lot of credence to the data mine. Yeah,
because they would just randomly come up with Camelot. Like it's not very like, I don't think it would have been a super common name, even if it is just an internal name. Like to have that be data mined after the image is crazy in my opinion. Like that to me shows like it has to be 100% true, whether it's an internal name or like the name of the actual product.
Well,
when one of the OG MMOs was Camelot Online.
Yeah,
that's what gets me. It's such a weird thing for World of Warcraft to call it when Camelot Online is literally one of the OG MMOs.
Yeah. But like, as you've probably seen, all of you, that there's like so many different meanings behind the word Camelot, right? It's like could be like a paradise type of place, which could be like, they're saying this is like going to be like a paradise for classic players to just retire and, shit like that. And there's tons of other meanings that I've seen as well that people link me all the time. And it's like, it does make sense why they would call it that, even if, in my opinion, I think it's still an internal name. I can't see them like shipping World of Warcraft Camelot. It sounds weird to me.
I don't know why they don't ship it as Classic Plus. Like, what's wrong with that?
Because we made that up. So like they will never name it that because we've talked about it now for like 3 years. I just feel like that's what it is. Like we literally just made that up. Huh?
No, but Classic Plus now is aimed direct. Like, let's think about it for a minute. Classic Plus is now aimed directly at classic players.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft Camelot is now aimed at everyone.
Yeah. And that
like literally everyone from retail players to people that played in 2004 to people that quit last week. That is now everyone. If you say, it's Classic Plus, people are going to
want to get rid of the word classic.
Yes.
They want classic out of that title.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think they want classic out of the title. And after seeing this leak and like seeing that this is real, I actually have changed completely what I think this game is actually going to be. I think, I won't get into it right now. We could wait till we get to that part, but
No, send it.
yeah,
Send it. 'Cause I'm sure we can dig more into what you're going to say later anyway. So yeah.
Seeing the name Camelot, right, and it being like this paradise, whatever, like all these different versions of Camelot means so many different things that could coincide with it being like a Classic Plus. And the fact, like you guys just brought up, that Classic would no longer be in the name if they actually named it like World of Warcraft Camelot, makes me feel like that is intentional, like what you just said, Scotty, that it's intentional, that they want to attract not only Classic players, but Classic players, retail players, and maybe even potentially new players, right? Maybe other MMO players or people who don't play MMOs, right? Everyone knows World of Warcraft, right? Even if you're an FPS gamer and you don't touch MMOs, you know World of Warcraft if you're a gamer. And them releasing a new World of Warcraft called World of Warcraft Camelot doesn't have the Classic name on it, right? So it doesn't have the stigma that comes with being like a Classic player or anything like that. And it's not on the mainline game. So what is it? That to me, like when you just said, Scotty, that the name not being there makes it, you know, appealing to other players. I think that's like 1,000% the reasoning behind. If it is announced and it is actually named World of Warcraft Camelot, that is the reasoning. They want to bring in new players. They want to reach new audiences. They want to maybe bring Classic and retail players together to try it. Like, we don't really know. But that, to me, if Classic isn't in the name, it definitely changes what I think the game will actually be. I don't think it'll be close to like the Classic Plus that everyone thinks we're getting or wants this whole time in that regard.
Well, like you know, and then you dig in deeper than that and look 4 or 5 years into the future. Like World of Warcraft, like we say World of Warcraft, and whatever version of the game you play is the version you think of, right? So if you're a Midnight player and I said, oh, you play World of Warcraft, you'd say yes. If you was a TBC anniversary player, I said, oh, you play World of Warcraft, you'd say yes. Mop Classic, they'd say yes. Like, it doesn't matter. So this is like now a completely, I want to say, like new branch where, yes, it's World of Warcraft, but it's meant to be there to stand on its own two legs. And what audience it attracts, obviously it'll attract people from Classic, it'll attract retail players, people that have played before. But what I've said all along about, I'm going to call it Classic Plus, I'm not going to call it Camelot, but what I've said all along about Classic Plus is this is not some sort of fucking love letter to people that used to play on Nostalrius. It's not a love letter to Esfan, Zaryu, Guzu, you know, all the boys that are like fucking like vanilla, like all they want to do is play vanilla. Like, it's not for them specifically. Like, they may enjoy it, but this is like, this should be able to bring in a new audience that have never played World of Warcraft before. And if that's not what they're doing, I'll be honest with you, from a developer's perspective, they're fucking stupid. Like, there's no other word for them. Because why would you go to this extent to under Microsoft, by the way? We're talking under a very big umbrella. You know, you're not like an indie studio. You're under Microsoft. Why would they allow you to put 3? Which this is my guess, by the way. I apologize. I don't know this for a fact, but I would assume there's been a good 3 to 4 years of development so far into this for them to just release basically a game where they could just do 2019 Classic again and just do a fresh vanilla TBC RAF. Like, this is going to be something where people will need to get over themselves. It will be where some people that are wanting Turtle WoW need to be like, well, maybe it's not for you. People who want Retail 2.0, maybe it's not for you. I see this as like a middle ground between everything that's been World of Warcraft so far, and it will stand on its own 2 feet.
Let me hit you with some marketing, right? World of Warcraft 2.
Well, it's not completely off the charts. They actually mentioned in a deleted comment tweet on Reddit, when it was the initial user who was the person who leaked the OG blurry image, was a person on the social team, which was a girlfriend of the person's that leaked the shot. And they said in a Reddit comment that this was planned. If you watch the Bellior video as well too, where he was talking about a screenshot showing that supposedly this was leading, Camelot is the idea of the future of the WoW 2.0 project after Last Titan. And which was weird because I was looking at that timing. I was like, well, if it's before Last Titan or it's somewhere in the quarters, like how does that make sense? But the more I kept looking at the dates that I think that are following, like so far, even from Belliar's video and many others, creators' videos as well, and all the people that were commenting on Reddit and all over the internet, basically, the dates on the original roadmap quarterly wise have been pretty spot on for at least as of now. So if we look at this from like a loading bar perspective, if we're on like the 5% meter, so far that 5% has been accurate. Now it's whether we keep going throughout the stages. The only thing that leads me to question, and I think my biggest belief that's going to up that loading bar percentage to believe if that image is real more than anything, which Hammer was just talking about, even using Claude and GBT to like confirm the percentages of like the values, and he said it was like 75%. I think you said, right, which was like it was saying that it could be correct. So my belief is there's something we talked about weeks ago that I'm going to bring back now into this discussion, which we can further expand on. Warlords of Draenor. If Warlords of Draenor is not coming out, and this screenshot shows MOP, TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, but then TBC at the almost ending of its life cycle around autumn, going into Camelot, Wrath, them doing the whole version of like giving all the fresh Andes their forever like love of classic always, because classic Andes are always going to just want to play classic. It doesn't matter if you show a brand new car and it has nitrous on it and it could take you to the moon. They still want that old hatchback that's just been driving them for years. I get it and I respect it. But if WAD doesn't get announced in the next month or so, and plus the fact that they were doing, I believe, Scotty, they were doing heirlooms for Mr. Pandaria from WAD, right? They were adding heirlooms from WAD into MOP. If I'm correct, they announced that on Wowhead.
I've not been following MOP at all, so I don't know. I'll take your word for it if that's what they've been doing.
Well, that's what I thought that they were doing from like, because I know they're in Siege of Orgrimmar right now with MOP at the current moment. But outside of that,
they get the heirlooms from Garrosh. Yeah, I mean the heirlooms from Garrosh. The WOD heirlooms that would come in would be rings from the garrisons, and that's it. I don't. Oh, and trinkets. There was trinkets in WOD as well. Yeah. So unless they've been brought in, I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, so to confirm that information, so basically all I'm getting at, TLDR, if MOP is truthfully over and we do not get a WOD announcement and they just put it as a blue post that unfortunately for MOP players, we are no longer continuing our journey. We'd like to thank you for playing with our time and enjoying Mr. Pandaria and the classic vision we had since 2019. And we look forward to you guys playing in the future for something else new, whether it's retail or see you at BlizzCon, wink, wink. Then that makes this post a huge portion for me personally, way more legit, because now this screenshot has a lot of weight to it because there's no WOD on that list. Now the only thing that is a little skeptical, I'm curious what you guys think too, they have China on there, like they have CN, if you guys noticed on the image. My question is, why is Legion Remix not on this post? Where is it? Because it happened and it's just nowhere to be found. And where is Titanforge? I know they give it to NetEase and stuff like that for at least Titanforge, but why is Legion Remix not somewhere there? Maybe it's because it's considered a patch update, just like MOP Remix was. But that's the only question in relevance that I have truthfully for this list. But outside of that, if they don't give WOD, I think it gives it more weight.
So when was the MOP Remix in retail, Tello? You remember? Was that 2024? I feel like that was 24.
Yeah,
right?
that was a good couple of years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
Legion was last, then MOP before that.
Okay.
And but Legion definitely happened after the War Within, so we would have seen it somewhere between, I think, 2025, around the quarter 1, quarter 2 area, like kind of somewhere in that gap. It would have just at least said Legion Remix. So that's the only thing that's like, if you're looking at it from a person who has worked in like a desk job scenario and you've worked with corporate companies, you usually like label all these things out. Now then again, I don't know the program that they're using here, whatever they're getting this image from. There could be several tabs on this image,
and if you look at it,
like,
where it's got seasonal.
I was gonna say, because if you look at that main line, it is just going from like one actual full patch. Like, you know what I mean? It's showing 11.0, 12.0,
Yes.
13.0. So yeah, maybe there's another
it's
tab with those things in it.
franchise.
Possible.
It's called a franchise slate. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Legion Remix is more of a patch than a than a
That's a
franchise.
good way of putting it. Yeah, that
I
makes
agree
sense.
with you, McNulty. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that. So like, I think my only question now is like, sorry, my only question is that if once again the WAD information really proves to me that this list is 100% more legit, the fact that also this was released March of last year, which is quite interesting too. This has a lot of like it's a lot of what's the word, skepticism that everyone is having right now. Like we're pulling at straws, but at the same time you then look at what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, before the podcast. We were talking about from the guys over there at the Countdown to Classic, and one of their individuals even saw files named Project Camelot. Now obviously placeholder name, totally fine, devs do this all the time, but I can also see the reality too of who's to say that a person in this office just didn't see this and they took a photo of it? Like, is there like that happens? You know, leaks happen. The people in an office scenario, if they wherever they were on the social team, it's very possible, very easy. Take your phone, screenshot, boom, make a fake account online, and then put a post up. Why would that individual delete all their posts too? So, I think the question is now, people are wondering, was this post just to troll people all along and like give everybody a bunch of fake news, or is this 100% legit? And I think the WAD announcement for me is going to do a lot more weight more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, let's
me,
just say that it could still just be fake, right? Like there is always the possibility that this is like a 2-year long just gotcha troll moment. You know what I mean? Like someone could have actually done that. Yeah.
It could be insane.
Because you got to realize like this picture, this leak, like I'm looking at it right now, you had to know what you were taking a picture of to take a picture of this. You had to know that you wanted to show this to the WoW Classic community. You know what I mean? Like no normal person, in my opinion, would just be like, would think that this is like super important unless you know WoW and like know the community, right? There's just no way.
Yeah, so let me
It's
chime in.
intentional.
So this is from a disgruntled employee, yeah?
Mhm.
So also what you got to think about is, so this is someone from the social team, right?
Yes, the social
that got
team.
laid off. And
During the layoffs,
when
yeah.
you get laid off, it don't just happen. It's not you're laid off. Cheers, thanks for the laptop, thanks for the phone, off you go. Like you still do have a certain amount of access for probably maybe even a month before everything's finalized and you leave. Like I've seen layoffs. I've worked at big companies like bigger than Blizzard, and you know it's quite normal that you've got access to confidential information after you even know you're being laid off. So if you were someone that, yes, you worked at Blizzard, you was in that scene and you knew how powerful this picture could be after you've gone, yeah, no, I see it. Trust me, I am the most skeptical person you will ever meet when it comes to leaks. I never believe any of them, and I haven't believed any of them since 2019. Most of them have been bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
This, for CAMELOT to have been mentioned so much in the last 5 to 6 weeks, and the fact that it actually goes back over a year,
Yeah,
I'm already calling
yeah.
Classic Plus CAMELOT.
Yeah, there's almost no way that it's not true. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense.
The one thing that I have a problem with this picture is if it is real, what psychopath is releasing Wrath straight after Classic Plus?
well, you know, and that's what I thought. I thought that
it doesn't
too.
necessarily have to be that, though, does it? I mean, again, for anyone who's worked at a big company, you have something like this. In this case, it's what, a franchise slate, which again, I think yous have took franchise slate as something differently to what I have. But as someone who's worked in a business where you have a franchise, to me, a franchise of Microsoft would be Blizzard. So this Blizzard is the franchise. So like I would have expected to see Legion on here. I would have expected to see Mop Remix on here. You know, I would have expected to see, because a franchise to me is someone who not you're kind of under the umbrella and you get the support of the company, but you are kind of standing on your own 2 feet, and your profit margins are your profit
But
margins, and
these are
it
all
feeds into the mother company.
main titles, whereas Legion Remix is just a patch in a main title.
Well,
Yeah, but
I will.
where are you
Go
getting
ahead.
that from? I mean, it's mainline expansion. Where are you getting main titles from?
Yeah, but I mean, like in essence, these are all like, Kata's a main fucking game, Mop's a main game, The War Within's a main game,
Yeah,
and then
no, I understand. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just franchise to me means something completely different. As in when I was at Coca-Cola, a franchise of would be a Costa coffee shop on a high
yeah,
street in London. They're a franchise, even though Coca-Cola owned them, they are a franchise.
yeah. But I
So
see this as games that they're releasing, not patches that they're releasing.
yeah,
Like this franchise is
again,
games.
I don't know the terminology that Blizzard use, so or what Microsoft use.
Well,
It's just
I was going to add
I look
something
at
to
it.
you. I was just going to add something real quick, that the simple fact, though, is I think too many people get it twisted where they think that the community needs to be combined into one organization or like one state of flow for like a game to like truthfully be successful. When Blizzard doesn't look at like all the complaints of the user saying, oh, like we have to stop the 18 different versions, we have to stop the seasonal, we have to stop this and focus everybody back into one hub again. In Blizzard's eyes, this chart, let's say this chart 100%, let's just say it's legit for just shooting that shit here. They look at this and they see that we're all under one hub. When I was working myself back, my previous job, I was working for Samsung. We did like memory chips and SSDs. We had series of lines, Evos, Pro models. We had different series models, memories and DRAMs, and all this different internal product that we worked with. And when we labeled it in the kind of like a similar like chart or graph or category, we had all our customers, our professional customers, our just at home individual users, but they were all under the Samsung hub. We never said, oh, you guys should only be using the Pro line. Yeah, we pushed that, but we always said that they're all under the hub, and there's no need to say they need to be only focused on one area. I don't
Well,
think Blizzard
I
cares
agree with that.
anymore. Yeah, I'm just
I
saying
think
I
that's
don't think
fine.
Blizzard
Yeah.
cares about the fact that they have a fresh, because you know why? Fresh Andes are always going to want to play fresh every time. It's an
Yeah.
easy $15 a month sub to get anybody who's a
Yeah,
vanilla
but like,
Andy to get you back into
100%.
the scene.
but
The
in
same
this
thing with the War
specific
Within.
case, with Wrath and Camelot, they're so close.
True,
It's so
that is.
interfering.
I agree, but here's what I get you. When we were playing Season of Discovery, why did they bring out Anniversary?
Yeah.
And then why didn't people go back to Anniversary and everybody thought it was going to be dead at AQ? Why ended up being one of the more popular phases? People stayed consistently through Anniversary. They said it was going to die off. People said AQ was going to be flat. That's when the game, gets very stale, which don't get me wrong, I do agree. I'm not the biggest fan of AQ. I don't care about really doing much of the content then. But people played
Wasn't that when
consistently.
Salt
And
ended though? Wasn't that
no,
after
but
Phase 8?
well, I'm talking about the beginning of like I'm just bringing up AQ in general as an example of players playing Season of Discovery. They released Anniversary again, and they rode the whole way through. Is all I'm saying. That they released a whole nother version of WoW when players were playing active Season of Discovery. The same thing happened when people were actively playing Season of Discovery when they took some of the SOD devs to go work on Cataclysm. Agrin and some of the team over there, they were taking them actively from the SOD team to help with Kata. So
I think they were one team, to be honest with you.
This also
Well,
happened back
my whole-
however many years ago at this point, 5 years ago, we were playing TBC Classic the first time. They released Season of Mastery 3 months into TBC. And that was the first TBC Classic that we were playing, right? So they kind of do this all the time. It does make sense.
I have my own example. They released Nax and Shadowlands in the same week.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
And here's the thing, and McNulty, like, and don't get me wrong, like in your mind, I get where you're coming from, but I just think we have to also realize, like Scotty, what he said earlier too, this is no longer just the small Blizzard team, a humble, group of guys in a garage working on their first game called World of Warcraft. This is $1 billion a year now organization with Activision and Microsoft, and they have the money, they have the spreadability. Nobody truly knows the real size of their team, like from here or any individual playing WoW. But I'm willing to bet you they've been thinking about these ideas. They know these ideas. They pre-plan this in their studio. They work on it day in, day out, as much as people like to claim they don't. They do. And they make all this money. They're going to do something with it. And they're not going to look at it, oh, well, the audience is saying we just want classic. Sure, we'll give you back classic again. But we're not going to have this big dilemma of like, oh, just because we split our community, it doesn't really matter to them because they're going to get money from all different ways, no matter what. Like, why would you limit your revenue stream to one lane? You know what I'm saying? You would never do that.
The thing is, when you're saturating the market, but you're saturating the market with only your content, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter how much you thin it out by,
you still win.
It will always be more. So I don't know what you boys. Well, in the States, I'd imagine it's Tim Hortons. Yeah, when we talk of coffee, Tim Hortons, you've probably got loads of Tim Horton machines everywhere. Starbucks, of course, you'll have
Dunkin'
Starbucks,
Donuts.
but I'm talking
Dunkin'
like
Donuts.
bean to cup machines. Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, they're all Shearer machines from Switzerland. Like in the UK, I speak Costa. They're like Costa will have on a motorway. They'll have like 8 or 9 Costa machines in one service station, and then 500 yards away they'll have another 2 or 3 machines in a WH Smith or in a Costco or in another shop. And you would look at that and be like, well, you're competing with yourself. You know, you're taking money away from one to go into the other, but you're not, because it's all your money. Like, the more you've got, the more you'll get. So Blizzard are the same. They'll be looking at it now. It's like, well, yeah, we can run a vanilla TBC RAF that goes through. We can have SOD. We can have Classic Era. We can have Era servers for all 3. We can keep going all the way up to MOP. We can then do Camelot that's going to be massive. We can do the next retail expansion that's going to be massive. Even if we look at it where we feel like they're separating everybody and sort of putting a bit of a rift between the player base, they're not. They're just looking at the amount of subs they're getting.
Yeah.
Like we don't see that. You know, we don't see the effect that a classic has, other than the fact that we feel, remember that. No, there's no stats. We feel that we all move from one to the other. But we don't actually know how much that new one has brought in. You know, I do think Camelot / Classic Plus, whatever you want to call it, is going to bring in more than we've seen since 2019. Because go back to 2019, and this is going to be something we talk about soon, by the way. When you go back to 2019 and you look at what vanilla, like the even height of the pandemic, what vanilla brought in, the numbers still climbed. From vanilla to TBC to RAF, they still climbed, even though you would have expected 2019 to be the biggest. Which is why I don't think Camelot's even going to be revolving. We're so close. We're so close to an announcement in September, and I still don't think Camelot is there to please the vanilla Andes.
I don't think so
because
either.
if you are someone that cares about money, that ain't what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would also lean into why it makes sense that it's so close to the Wrath anniversary, right?
Oh man, I'd be heartbroken if it wasn't aimed towards the classic Andes like Scott is saying, and it's dog water, and I'm sitting here playing Nax 25 for the 400th time again. I'll cry. You'll see.
No. I do. I think you're misunderstanding me. I think when we get to the question of the week or the topic of the week, whatever we decide to call it, it will make more sense. I think when it comes to doing Camelot or Classic Plus, I do think there are going to be some people that will be disappointed. Maybe me when I'm completely wrong, but you know, I do think if I put my business hat on, trying to please such a small portion of your player base is the wrong thing to do when you're putting 3-4 years development time in. Because look back at 2004 numbers to 2009 numbers. Look back at 2019 numbers to, I don't know, 2023. Look back at Anniversary, when Anniversary launched, to now. The numbers only go up. They didn't spike when Anniversary launched. They spiked when TBC launched. They'll spike again even higher when RAF launches. Back in Classic, they was good in 2019. They spiked in TBC. They spiked in RAF. They know where people found. I don't want to say it because we're going to talk about it, but you know, they know where people found the classes the most fun, and I think that's what it is. I don't think it's anything about the content. You can make new raids, make new dungeons, you know, give us new shit. We're gonna love the new shit. But what it comes down to is the what we're playing, our character, the thing that we're attached to, what we're online with every day needs to feel entertaining. Like, doesn't need to feel difficult, but it needs to feel entertaining.
Yeah,
I've gone off on
I
a
agree with
tangent.
that.
I apologize.
No, I think that was great. I mean, I agree on that. Like, I also think like in terms of like Camelot, in terms of what I think we all want to see more. We all want to see more content, of course. We all want to see more quality, more reason to stay on. I think that's the biggest thing for like classic Andes as well, but also even retail Andes too. You want to have a reason to play every day. You want to have a reason to like, why should I log off tonight? Should I call off of work tomorrow? Should I go out with my girlfriend this week if she exists? Probably not. It doesn't matter. you, you want to have a reason to play WoW at all times, and that's why I fell in love with WoW. And even like with SOD, like I got on SOD and I realized that there was a reason to play because things were mysterious, things were not figured out. I don't want Camelot to be a vanilla clone. If I'm gonna play a vanilla clone, I'll just go back to Era. I don't need another vanilla clone. What I need is something that has hints of vanilla. It feels like the sense of vanilla, but at the same time, it's opening to more of everybody. That's welcoming, and it's not based on having the figured out macros, the figured out rotation, the figured out wow head post, the figured out YouTube guide telling you your favorite S tier video or your S tier class each and every week. I don't give a shit about any of that. What I care about is the world feeling immersive. Give me a reason to want to exist in this world. And hell, if you want to change up the lore a little bit, do it. I love that. Like, give me a version where the portals closed. I talked with Hammer a little bit about this, where the portals closed and Hellfire Peninsula is a raid, and we're fighting, you know, and we're no longer, you know, just Illidan's this bad guy, you know, and we fix his lore. Give me a version of where Arthas is like, maybe what happens if he doesn't become the Lich King? What happens if Arthas is like a genuine good guy? Like, what happens then? Who's the next big baddie? Like, do something crazy. Who cares? I just want to see more with this Camelot stuff. I want to see how it ties into, because when you really think about King Arthur, Arthas and King Arthur himself, like they're pretty damn close in terms of like sharing some specifics. You can go way deeper into the details, which I won't here. But outside of
No,
that,
do it. Go deeper in. Go deeper in, because the next question is, why is it called Camelot?
I love
go
whenever
deeper in.
I love whenever
I mean-
Arthur pulled the stone from the sword and then he killed his dwarf friend.
Yeah, I think that's the best part. I mean, I think in terms of like the tale of Arthas, you know, there's a lot we know about the OG tale of it, with Merlin and parading Camelot, gathering the Knights of the Round Table, seeking justice and honor throughout the lands, and Arthas being, you know, the promised one in World of Warcraft's lore to, like, you know, seek retribution and justice through the lands of Azeroth. Obviously, that failing and him winding up being the Lich King. But I think in this version of what they're trying to copy, I don't know if they're going for like a one-to-one, if that's what they're trying to do in terms of Camelot, where they want to follow the actual storyline of Arthas falling, getting betrayed by, you know, the Lancelot, the knight, and all that stuff with I think it's his wife Guinevere, and then Excalibur returning to the lake and all that stuff. So I don't think they're going to go down that route, but I genuinely feel that it would be really cool to kind of take the scenario of the gameplay loop and the feeling of WoW that we had, but change the lore in areas where maybe we go back to times that we get to revisit that we heard about, but we never had the experience to have. I remember hearing so long ago about a version of vanilla WoW, the alpha days, where they were going to dive maybe potentially deeper into Warcraft 1's history, where it was just about orcs and humans and just the real
Well, that's
gritty
what I had. Sorry, just to interrupt, but that's a comment that I had that said that they think that Camelot, it's being called Camelot because it's kind of like a new beginning, and you know, for example, Molten Core, Ragnaros, it don't even exist. You know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like going back hundreds of years before Classic,
Yeah.
as in before Classic, not like before Vanilla, before everything. So it's like everything that we think we know, like
You don't.
you
Nearly
don't.
like a
Yeah.
prequel.
None of that.
Yeah.
None
Know
of
what you
that
mean?
shit. Yeah, a prequel. Thank you, Noel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I would personally love, because I think that, to me, I don't know if there's any like Star Wars fans here, but like I'm a big fan of like my friend's a big fan of Galaxies. I think you mentioned that one time, Scotty, on the podcast.
Yes, love it.
I also been playing for the past couple months with my friend. We've been playing Old Republic a lot, just kind of going through it again. I just am a sucker for like the voice acting. But for me, what I think is cool, it's like in where Star Wars kind of struggles nowadays is where it's always about the Skywalker storyline. It's the same stuff over and
Yeah.
over again. As much as I love Skywalker, always will, I think going to other areas is really cool, like Mandalore and all this other stuff. But I think what's really sick is the freaking Knights of the Old Republic, going back to the pre-days, like what happened hundreds of years ago. You know, what happened before all these times of these promised big baddies and stuff. Like what was going on then? And I think World of Warcraft has the opportunity to present itself with that with Camelot, and really show like, okay, what just happened before the days of, you know, Kata, before the days of Wrath of the Lich King, before the days of an Illidan and potential like sci-fi world of the Outlands. What happened when it was just the world of Azeroth and it was just war and just divide
Yeah.
and truly like hated days where humans were treating orcs like actual slaves. Like I remember there was a story where the Goblin Town, I forgot, maybe somebody, a WoW lore Andy would know this, but I think one of the captains of the Alliance, they were bombarding the goblins and just destroying like their villages, and they were panicking and running around everywhere. They were diving into the water trying to get escape, and they were still shooting them down as they were escaping. Like humans were savages. They were not like pleasant beings to be around. The same thing with the orcs poisoning each other and like actually enslaving their own people. It's just that's the stuff that I want to see them explore more. Now I don't know if they have the chance to do it. I'm nerding out a little too much. Forgive me for the rant, but I think it would be really sick to them dive into that aspect, because that's the stuff that we want to see from at least a lore perspective. But then you look at the gameplay. How does the gameplay change around that? You know, and how does that affect the world, which would be really cool too.
I just think Blizzard are just gonna be too safe for that these days. Like you just
True,
said the word
that's possible.
slavery, so like I think that's already out the window.
I mean, is it though? Like, is it possible? Is that out the window? I don't know. Like, I understand the whole like, you know, retail, like, oh, everything's Disneyfied stuff, but at the same time, I mean,
I don't even think they would have done the Thrall storyline if they had released WoW today.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Noel. I've got a slave. Her name's Laura. I could wake her up. She's exhausted. She's done so much work today. Like I'd have to wake her up, but I can prove that she exists.
I just think it'd be really cool for us to dive deeper into like Troll Wars, Warcraft lore, like go heavier. Yeah, just go heavier into the old stuff, and then how gameplay loop effects around that, and how like the new zones. It would also even kind of give some cool reasons like why classic era zones nowadays don't have these zones, or why we're restricted to them, because the old days they were there, but then they were destroyed by some type of lore reasoning, right?
And that's why I think it's brilliant, and that's what got me thinking, and that's why I brought it up, because you know I've kind of been very fixated on what we know, you know, as in being like, okay, what are they going to do with Molten Core? What are they going to do with Blackwing Lair? You know, going back to vanilla, like, well, how are they going to do that? Like, Zolgorub, is that going to be a 10-man? They're going to do it again, but it's going to be a 10-man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think my way of thinking has been very restricted. You know, where it's like, yeah, if we was to imagine that they went back a decent amount of time before that, I'm no lore fucking geek. Like, I know there was Warcraft 1, 2, 3, and then it was World of Warcraft. I started playing World of Warcraft because there was two guys that I played Star Wars Galaxies with that were like, this game's going to be banging, like it's going to be big. So I went and played it, but I'd never played any other outside of Diablo. Like I played all of like, Diablo 1, 2, Laws of Destruction, but yeah, I didn't know what Warcraft was. So people who have played Warcraft 1, I'm not sure how far that goes back. But if you imagine Well, I don't know. Does anyone know? Do you know, Hammer or Nolty? Do either you
No.
like where
Well,
Warcraft One sits?
Warcraft 1 is just orcs versus humans. It's basically the orcs coming through the portal for the first time, right? So, like, if you're talking about before that, then there's no horde.
Yeah.
So it can't go it can't go past the Dark Portal. The Dark Portal starts everything.
So Warcraft One is the dark. So the Dark Portal, yeah, but the Dark Portal was at Outland.
Yeah.
So that starts there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I know nothing about lore. I'll never pretend to. Well, maybe they make up their own, what, or they already know. Chris Metzen has already
it would be an alliance
decided
only.
what happened before then.
I have a really hard time. I'm not gonna lie.
Trolls.
I'm like on the complete opposite side of the fence from you guys on this, and I struggle with the idea of thinking that this is going to be that much new content. And I'm not trying to be a doomer, but I do feel like SOD was developed for a reason. You know what I mean? I think we're going to see a lot of that stuff baked into Camelot. I think that it's almost like crazy to say, like, there is no way they are not going to reuse Molten Core, Blackwing Layer, ZG, and all that stuff. They are. Like, there is no, because here's the problem. Like, maybe it's what Scotty just said, right? Like, maybe they're not going to be 40-man raids or whatever. I hope 40-man raiding is just gone forever. I never want to do 40-man raids. But there's just no way. Like that is like, for it to be a completely new game and be developed along, like, even if they started developing it while they were still developing SOD, while they're releasing anniversary servers, like, I just can't see it. And maybe I hope that I'm wrong, right? I hope that I'm wrong. Here's
I'm on the other side to you. Normally, I am the pessimist. Normally, I am you, which really annoys me because I like being you.
Yeah,
but no, I do believe this time. I don't think I do think we'll see Molten Core and stuff at some point. But I don't think we see it for years, and I mean years.
Really?
For me, lore-wise, for me, it was always Classic Plus would just be what happened to the people who didn't go through the portal, who didn't chase after Arthas.
That is the idea that I can get behind. Yeah, I think going too far back.
There's another world there.
Yeah, going too far back erases so much of what, like, World of Warcraft is, in my opinion, right? Because back then it was just orcs and humans.
But you can only go one way. Well, you can go two ways.
No, they could go a completely different.
We've already gone full.
But what Nulty is saying is that you just don't go through the portal. Yeah, you're going horizontal, right? Like,
yeah, but also I was just gonna say, at the same time, you don't need to like start the game from them. Maybe like that was the wrong way to go about it. It's a good conversation. Like, I'm not saying to start the game from the olden days on default. Like, you could still start it from like where Classic WoW started, but you have to understand there's two ways of looking at it. There's the one way of like, okay, we also have something called time, which is the Caverns of Time, which is a cheat code to a lot of freaking things when it comes to how far we can really expand and explore the game in many different time areas and zones, which I think is the ultimate thing. Bless you. But I do think that's one of the cheat codes. Another thing too is what we've talked about earlier. You also have to remember this game, if it is truly a new game and it is Camelot and it's supposed to be this brand new thing, it can't treat the game like only vanilla. As much as that sucks to say as a classic Andy myself who loves vanilla and appreciates the slow pacing of the game, if you're trying to open and market to a brand new audience, you're not treating this as like, okay, vanilla fresh. We already have a whole new wave of fresh and anniversary and all the stuff, classic era. Go play that then. This is supposed to be that attracts everybody. It's a brand new mass thing to bring in more sales from different types of gamers who normally don't play retail and don't play classic. We're trying to hit a new market and get
I don't know how to do that though.
I'm not sure how they
do it.
Yeah, I'm not the marketing guy. Obviously, none of us are, but I don't know how they go about it. But I think the point is that personally, on a personal note, would I be upset and with the fact that we're just doing the same old ZG Molten Core stuff again? Sure, but it depends on the gameplay loop. It depends on the quests. It depends on the lore. It depends on the world. The zone to zone one is a massive one for me. Like, I don't want to just, okay, follow the guide again, and we're going through, Duskwood, Redridge, Westfall, Elwyn.
Yeah, that's a big one for me.
Yeah, we're
doing
the whole Rested XP guide thing again. I don't want to do that. I want new because that's what it's supposed to be. It should
Yeah.
be that.
But okay, let me just throw this in. So you got to appreciate the fact that most of that will still be there. Yeah. Like
No,
let's
of course,
say,
I don't. Yeah, I don't disappreciate.
But
I'm
maybe
just
it'll
saying,
be in its sod form, right?
but
Like BWO will have like the Drake
how much of
trials
it
and.
was- No,
Yeah,
no,
maybe.
no, 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 no. What I mean is the quests.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah,
let's say you start at
Oh, sure. I don't hate the
Northshire,
quest. Yeah.
and you've got to kill some wolves. You've got to then
Oh,
go
yeah,
out
that's
and
fine.
get some bandanas and like none of that is really pivotal to any stories or anything, is it? Or to
No,
any
no, no.
lore.
Yeah.
It's more so you can kind of keep all of that in, and let's say it rewound 500 years. Yeah, I'm just throwing a number out. Like those would still be relevant. Like, yeah, you still need to kill some wolves. You'll still need to, is there any quests you can think of? And this is like a genuine question. Is there any quests you can think of between 1 to 60 where actually it's super relevant to the lore, where
Yeah.
you can't just leave that in? Okay, well, God, yeah, I don't know, Nolty. That's why I'm
There's
asking.
like all of Westfall with the
Missing
face.
diplomat.
Yeah, there's loads, Scott. There's loads. You probably can't remember because you haven't seen a quest. You've only seen the Blue Arrow.
Okay, yeah. So the missing diplomat. Yeah, but how is that relevant to the lore? As in the lore of Molten Core, Blackwing Lair. I'm talking about the raids.
But it's relevant to
the
the
raids,
it's
so-
relevant to the city. It's relevant to the world building.
Yeah, but to
yeah,
the
it's not
raids.
relevant. It's not relevant.
What's
to
relevant?
Molten Core. No, it's not. No.
Yeah,
Unless-
so
well,
that you could go
Well,
you could go
it
backwards
actually it
500
is. Sorry,
years and it would
sorry.
still matter.
Let me rewind that. The missing diplomat and the Westfall stuff is relevant to the raids, but what's relevant to Nixia because Nixia is the reason why all of the issues happened in Stormwind, because she didn't pay the people that became the Deadmines. Because they're like they're the sculptors. They made all the infrastructure in Stormwind, and then she didn't pay them, and then they became the guys that became Deadmines.
Yeah, there's
So
plenty of
all
quests
of
that
that
are even
would need
relevant.
removing. So if it was to go backwards like that couldn't be there.
It would need to be
If
gone.
Nixia wasn't a boss.
If the Nixia wasn't
Okay.
exist, yes, it would have to be removed and changed. Yeah.
Like I said, it all depends. Like if you with a lot of usage of the Caverns of Time really change a lot of things, because then you can keep the world the same, but then revisit old areas. So maybe that's the better way of approaching, where you don't.
I think that's the way they would do it. Yeah.
Maybe you don't truthfully ruin the entire vanilla experience, but once again, at the same time, I think the pivotal detail is that we cannot only pivot to a vanilla fan base if you're trying to grow a massively new product after your BlizzCon event. That's not the promotional material to really see something. Not saying that it's not going to blow up. 2019 was a rare time. COVID was a big reasoning to that too. COVID did a lot of things for many of games, to be honest, not just Classic WoW. But at the same time, if they're trying to do something where it branches off to many other people, you have to have this game very welcoming, and how it suckers people in a good way, and how it keeps the consistency of wanting you to always log on every day. And I think that in terms of like what we're talking about with the quest and lore, I mean, yeah, you can go on a whole like raid with that. Like you can even bring up the Scarlet Monastery and how it's tied. Eventually once you get the Ashbringer and you come back, and all the NPCs bow down to you now instead of fighting you. And now you talk to, I think it's Bartholomew or whatever the guy is, the undead guy on the right side, I forget his name. And then he gives you the early day text back in the day talking about the Outlands before TBC was a thing, before we were even getting into the Burning Crusade. This was like old stuff back in like vanilla. So I think that the quest always should be relevant, but at the same time, like Scotty's right, you don't always need to have a quest that's relevant to the massive raid boss, because that's kind of stupid, right? Like not everything needs to be tied to Onyxia, not everything needs to be tied to Nefarian or all this stuff. It just needs to be tied sometimes to the towns.
It could be between Onyxia and Ragnaros then. Like, yeah, again, I'm spitballing here. Like, I don't know. Like, if Onyxia is relevant to things that are going on, in just the normal quest that you're doing with a Defias and that, is Ragnaros. Like, I'm just trying to picture where there could be a period of time where you've got Onyxia. Onyxia might be a 40-man raid, but then everything else is new because it could be 10 years before we found the Molten Core or whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely some time. Like if it was a prequel, there's definitely stuff they could do as prequel.
It's got to be. It's got to be a prequel. How can they do it any other way?
I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go sideways. I think all the original stories in vanilla are all going to be there, I just think when we get to sort of towards the end of it, they're going to go left instead of right.
That's what I think too.
That's how I think it's going to go.
I think we're just going to not go through the dark portal, and we're going down a whole new path. I don't. I think the amount of work that it would have taken to change like vanilla is like there's thousands and thousands of quests. You know what I mean? Like there's just no way, in my opinion. But again, I could be wrong.
I mean, look at Season of Discovery though. Like they kind of this is the one reason why I have some type of faith, and I know it's very hard nowadays in the WoW scene to be very positive when you're living in such a very you're like the far opposite when you're positive in the WoW community, at least for nowadays. But when I look at SOD and I see what they did with Karazhan Crypts, and I see what they did with the Scarlet Enclave, and that in Avalon, like the new area that they were messing around with, I personally see a team at least, right, a newer area. You know what I mean? Like the zone hub that they had for the Scarlet Enclave, so you can get your blue pieces that were actually pretty good stats. But outside of that, I definitely think that they've shown that they have the potential to add new things within vanilla. Mm-hmm. They've shown that. Even the shadowy figure herself, when you were doing the Nomergon helmet quest line, and you were going back and forth between Desolus and running all the way around the world like a freaking crazy taxi, they've shown that they can add new things in vanilla. If they've shown that they can do it, and at least with quests, even Demonfall Canyon, they've shown that.
I truly believe they can.
Yeah, I think if they've shown that they can do it, like obviously I understand your guys' point. Like maybe they don't do none of this shit. Let's be honest.
I think they will. I think it's going to be sprinkled into what's already there. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, for sure.
I just hope that when I click on Camelot for the first time, I see the fact that like, oh wow, there's some new quests in the zone. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, there is some new NPCs and mobs.
I think that's what it'll be like.
Oh wow, like there is a new zone. Like holy shit, like when we played T-WoW Hammer, like Ambershire. Mm-hmm. Like whoa, bro.
Yeah. If I was to do it, I would revamp the starting areas of every single class, and then I would push us into familiar content, and all of that familiar content should have sprinkled in new stuff. Like Turtle Wow did it brilliantly. I remember, again, I say this story all the time. I was at the docks in Stormwind, and there was just this doorway, and I walked through the doorway, and I was in like this new Elwyn Forest type zone. Yeah. I was like, holy, what the hell? It was sick. Yeah. New.
That's exactly what I think this is going to be, because that's efficient to develop, right? Like they're basically just adding and building to what's already there, what people already love. Maybe change up the classes, the gameplay, how the game plays, the pacing a little bit, whatever it is. But like I think that is still, if this is even vanilla based, which we don't know, it could be Wrath based. We have no idea. If it's vanilla based, I do personally think that that's what it will be. I think it's going to be similar to how T-WoW did it, where it's like, I don't think that they went into this removing anything. I think that they went into this with the idea of maybe moving some stuff around, adding some new, sprinkling some new stuff in there. Because in my opinion, it's really like, we're talking like 3 years dev time. Like you could actually see if this is when it happened, when they started working on Camelot. And I could tell you exactly when. And it was probably right when we got phase 2, between phase 2 and phase 3 in Season of Discovery. Maybe they got the green light, right? And you know why I say that? That's because in those first 2 phases of SOD, or really in phase 1, every single class and rune for that class had like its own unique way of getting it, right? Once we passed level 40, you started to see that every single class had to do this exact same thing to get their rune. Yeah. Right? It was no longer that every rune had its own unique way of acquiring it. It started to become...
Was that around like phase 2 of Kata as well?
What do you mean? Probably around there.
Where was SOD?
SOD phase 2 was...
right now.
I would have.
SOD dropped End of Wrath.
Me personally, I would have said around phase 2 of Kata. If I had to pinpoint where I thought that they really started, full sending, it would be around phase 2 of Kata.
Yeah, and like I noticed that, like when we were in SOD, I'm like, every single rune in phase 1 had its own unique way for every single class to get that rune, and it was tied to like super class fantasy too. On top of that. Then after we left phase 1, it started becoming more of like a generalized thing. Like every single class had to go do the Dark Riders and all that, and you got your rune for that, right? It became that there was just like 9 specific ways to get your runes, and every single class had to do one of those 9 ways to get that rune. So like that is when I would attest to them, you know, jumping to more heavy development on what would now be Camelot, if that's, you know, what actually happened there, and it would make sense, right?
I don't know about that personally. Like, I just think that they were just tight with between Sod and Kata, because it literally went, Kata had a patch, Sod had a patch, and just went like that.
So then, I mean, if that's the case, then what are we on, like a 1.5 year development onto Camelot? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I just think they've had a whole different set of people the whole time doing it.
Also, I'm gonna put this out too, and I know this is gonna kind of be like a wild take. I definitely think as well, like, who's to also say, and this might bum some people out, but who's to also say that Camelot also is not potentially another seasonal version of the game? Because Metzen said this himself. They've put out versions of retail 4 to 5, 6 patches later down the line, and developers do this. And when I played Ashes, Steven always talked about how we are working on like supposable layering, which obviously wasn't all BS, but they've always talked about how they work on the version of a game 3, 4, 5 versions later on. You don't see those versions. Now, if you look at the retail timeline from that screenshot, which we were looking at before, they have several versions on that shot that makes sense to what Metzen was saying, and even hinting at a WoW 2.0 from that leaked girlfriend's comment on Reddit that she was talking about how there is a WoW 2.0. Bellier covered that too. So I definitely think that Camelot can just be a seasonal thing, and really all their gun, like their ammo and their big guns and explosions for all where they really want to get the most out of it is truthfully just retail WoW, and Camelot is just something to cover kind of a mix of both retail and classic Andes. When they feel bored of retail or they feel bored of vanilla, you go play Camelot. You know,
that would be a big letdown. For me, Camelot is
it's possible.
Pretty much
it's very possible.
For me, I think Camelot's just going to be a Turtle WoW clone.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, like, I'm willing to also accept that reality is what I'm saying. Like, I'm willing to accept the reality that they continue retail no matter what, even past the last Titan, because the world's going to blow up, right? Like, that's the point. So they're going to continue retail with a 2.0 version or whatever that they do. And they continue vanilla always for the vanilla Andes. But then you have Camelot for people that just kind of want to play it for both sides when they're bored. And I think that's really it.
I think if that were the case, they should have just done more Sod development. Sod, I always considered Sod to be like WoW arcade, where you like to pop in, you just get 20 minutes of game playing, and it was great. I thought Sod was brilliant, but it was just like, I don't want to say retail light, but it was like
it was arcade WoW. It was arcade.
Yeah, arcade WoW. Yeah, I think that's the perfect name for it. WoW arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Camelot's going to be anything
Seasonal.
like that. Personally, it's
For
not
sure,
going to be
for sure.
seasonal. It's not going to be seasonal. But we've already gone over, and there's only, out of everything that we've got to talk about, there's 2 things that I'd at least like to touch on. Firstly, do I touch on both? Because we have already gone really over. No, we're at least going to do the leaked race. So the Shendarai.
Yeah.
That's not only been leaked, but it's been leaked twice. I mean, Bellier done a video and then renamed his title when Blizzard did something to remove the ability for him or his team, data miners, whatever, to be able to see it, which sort of led me to believe that it may be true, but then at the same time, again, like maybe a week ago, it's been shown again. Let me just show you what I'm actually talking about. Interesting extra thing. Could be nothing, but there's a mention of the Shendarai race. Unsure now if this is for Classic Plus or retail, but it could be connected to the TBD NPC race 1-2 Hoarder Alliance, but possibly Skyborn thing that we data mined back in 12.0.5. Now, again, weeks before this, it was data mined, and Bellier had done a video about it. So, I mean, again, I'm not a lore guy, so I don't know what the Shendarai race is. It sounds very blood elfy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it sounds very blood elfy, high elfy, whatever to me. But is this on the basis it's been seen twice now and linked to Classic Plus? It could be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Turtle WoW had high elves in their game. You know, their actual race wasn't Worgans; it was high elves.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and it was just like a copy of the night elf model, but they looked like blood elves, like skin tone and everything.
yeah,
No, didn't the
So,
High Elves have their own
well,
city on T-Wall too?
potentially.
Did they?
Sure.
I think they did.
I played hard.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I could see it being a real thing for sure. Like I could absolutely see that being put into
Yeah,
Camelot
that's
for
great,
sure.
yeah.
It makes sense, right?
well, I mean, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, they were from Diamol. I'm being told they were from Diamol, but it.
Hmm.
So, what
There is one in
faction would they
Darmor.
be?
A lance.
Maybe a line.
The center are the guys that were the night elves before, or the blood elves before they went to the horde, as far as I'm aware.
So, it would be specifically a new alliance race. There could be a horde race that's just
I
not
would,
been seen yet.
again, I'm not the biggest lore Andy. I would say most likely a lance. Yeah.
I mean, if they're copying Turtle WoW, as like we kind of said, of like the gist of like what they're trying to approach with, then yeah, it would be a High Elf Alliance space race. I don't think like they would try to go for Goblin on Horde. I'm not
Hopefully
sure
not.
what.
Hope
I'm not
not.
sure exactly what they would go for Horde, because if you add a new race to Alliance, you obviously have to do something for Horde, right? And I don't want the whole neutral thing. I think you leave Goblins as it is, leave them as being these guys, and Booty Bay, Tenaris, all that stuff. But I think you choose something that kind of like makes sense horde wise. I've seen several suggestions from like a lot of lore Andes online talking about what they think would actually work for the horde. I'm not too sure. Like, I don't think you could do like ogres. I don't know if that would work. I don't know how that would look. You also have to think too, when you pick certain races, right? A big one for a lot of WoW Andes is how does the armor look on these races? Like, how does the actual gear look on them? Because some people just re-roll because they can't stand the fact that like the gear looks on them looks horrible compared to some other classes. So they're like, I just can't stand this. It just looks absolutely terrible. So I think thematically, whatever the theme they go with Camelot, how they match it, it has to make sense to the armor, how it looks on them, and the theme as well, pretty much.
Well, what's
Yeah.
interesting, I want to tell you guys
do we
right
not
now.
think Shenderai?
This
Oh,
is
Hammer,
like
sorry, go
not
on.
something that is like Shendorai doesn't exist in Warcraft, right? So this is something completely new that they would be adding
Could be,
into
yeah.
the lore. Like
Right, yeah.
Shendorai, I've been looking into it this whole time we've been talking about it. Like it is literally nowhere in Warcraft to a point where AI is telling me, "Do you mean Sindorai as in blood elves?" Right? So maybe Shendorai is like what Nulty was saying.
Confused myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
like
could be a retail. It could be a retail thing.
or
to be honest, and
or
it's not a classic thing whatsoever.
if we are further back in time, maybe the Shendorai, they make it up because it's not even in retail. Like this is nowhere in the World of Warcraft universe, right? And like if someone comment down below, please, if it is, but maybe Shendorai is something new lore-ish that they're coming out with, right? Like maybe that's
Yeah.
why we can't find that name anywhere. Shendorai, maybe it
Maybe-
is blood
even
elves
me, I'm
before they
thinking
become
Sindorai,
blood
yeah.
elves, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking Cinderai as well. Actually, now that
Yeah,
you said that.
Sindorai is just
Not
blood elves.
Jen.
Right? That's blood elf in
Yeah.
Thalassian or whatever the elf language is. But Shendorai, just like it doesn't exist. I cannot find it anywhere in Warcraft like history at all. So that's interesting. So
You know
that
what it is?
could mean that like that could be a pretty good good leak because that means maybe it's something completely new lore wise that they're coming up with or
What it means is we're
Well,
definitely
I'll
getting
be honest with you.
Voltaire for the horde.
I'm just going to
That's what
tell
it means.
you what I thought it was when I saw it. Yes, it was new. I looked at it and thought it's going to be new, and it's going to be Blizzard's answer to paladins and shamans. Whatever this new race is just so. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone's assuming it's a night elf type character, maybe, but it's going to be their way of this is like a neutral race where you can have paladins on one side and shamans on the other.
Blood
I'm
elf
not saying it's
shamans.
just going to be
But
paladins and shamans.
it does sound like some type of highborn race.
Mhm.
When just going off the basis of it and seeing like some of the Dark Knight Elf comparisons, some of the High Elf TWoW comparisons, but it's very possible it can be like we just said before, like it could be just retail coded, and maybe this is something they're working on into their next patch, and this is like a new hub, a new zone, more quests, more enemies you fight, that you're fighting for this reputation, this new faction or whatever.
Was it
I'm
definitely
not
like
too
a
sure.
faction, not like a city or something?
Yeah,
No, there was
I
actually
don't know.
armor and all sorts found.
Yeah,
and
banners,
then it all got removed
moonwells. Yeah.
and it got
Really?
removed very quickly as well. Yeah.
So it's
it,
so
it
are-
makes
so-
me. It leads me to believe it's true. If I'm
Yeah.
honest,
So,
I can
like-
still be. I can still be
No,
a
for
city. It could be
sure.
like guards and.
well,
areas.
maybe for retail sense, like, is it like a whole? Now this is like the next patch we go into. This is your new hub, like the city of Shendalar or whatever. Or
well,
you know,
it
that's what I'm
first turned
thinking of.
up. It
Or the
first turned
however you
up
pronounce it.
as a purchasable, like housing items.
Yeah, the
if
moonwell
I
and the banner.
remember
Oh.
rightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
that's how it
okay.
turned up, and then it was as if it was squeezed in there. Like, not necessarily that's what it was actually meant to
Right.
be.
It was like
But
camouflaged under housing.
Well, that's what Bellular thought, and this is weeks ago. It was weeks
Hmm.
ago, and then when I saw
Yeah.
this saying like, oh, fucking, Shendarai race, unsure if this is for Classic Plus, it's like, wait, I literally saw this, 2, 3, 4 weeks before this post went out, saying about the Shendarai, and then it all got removed. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this is a retail thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they take
Yeah.
the dragon, what do you call it? The dragonflight approach with the dragon race and stuff, and it's just a whole new race for retail continuation. They have several patches lined up for the future for the next several months to years to come. I don't know if this is a Classic Plus thing. It just doesn't make sense to Camelot. It makes way more sense to retail, in my opinion.
Unless
yeah,
it's blood elves. Unless they're stroking for a while again.
I constantly just look at Classic Plus or Camelot and think they need a way to be able to do
Shamans.
Horde and Alliance shamans and paladins.
I
Yeah.
hope they don't. I hope they
I
don't
think
do
the
it.
best way to do it is a new race.
I hope they
They
don't do
will.
it at all. I know they will,
They
but I
will.
hope they don't.
Yeah, I mean that's where the difference of opinion comes from everybody. Like everybody wants like to have everything in full accessibility, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm leaning towards more the McNulty side of things, where I do think that if you're following, if this is supposed to be a version of vanilla that you're following true and through, then you're supposed to stick with how it originally was designed, where paladins had unfair balances between the both, and that was just kind of the situation. It sucked, boo-hoo, it really was. But so it made sense to the world of Azeroth, like that was the original form. But at the same time, from Scotty's perspective, I do understand that if you're going for a new, broader approach, you have to try things that are daring and things that are not the typical norm that you've been following. And then it could be a little scary for vanilla Andes to try different things and not panic all the time, which is very hard nowadays. But I do feel that you have to try new approaches to attract new communities and new people coming to your game. So
See, I feel for Scott.
Mainly because the vanilla Andes are such a small portion. We
Yeah.
talk about them like they matter, but they're such a small portion of what is World of Warcraft. The fucking smallest. The smallest portion. They're not a small portion. There is no smaller portion than people that want vanilla in its like 1.11 state, 1.10, 1.9, 1.8, depending on what itemization level you want. There is no smaller portion than that player base, which would lead us nicely on. So we're like, we'll bench that, because let's face it, none of us know.
Yeah.
We're going by, sort of like
we're pulling
some
straws.
leaks /
Yeah,
data mined
fine.
about maybe there's a new race. Like, we don't know. But what we do know is numbers. And we do know that no matter what version of World of Warcraft we look at, vanilla is literally not the lowest of the low, but it's always the least popular. Although people make it sound out like it's the most popular version of the game, even though it's not.
Well, it's only
Even
the
if
least
you go back to
popular when
2019.
it's only the least popular whenever you look at the numbers via logs.
Yeah. I was about to say there's a lot, dude. Like right now, right? I would sit here.
Even when you look at raids that have got 40 men versus 25, and it's still the most unpopular versus logs, surely it would be the most popular on the basis you need more people.
There'll be less logs because more people are in the one raid, but also like the amount of players.
No, it don't go by logs. It goes by players that have logged. It don't go by logs.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It goes by
right.
unique players in logs. So
Yeah, true.
one log in vanilla is worth more than
40.
TBC.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who play vanilla, and they don't even raid. If I'm being completely honest, like I think that there's a lot of people.
I agree, because most of them don't reach level 60.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll get to level 35 and make another character. And I do think that there is, like, even now, like we could sit here and think that like Classic Era is dead because it has what 12k raid logs. But if you log on to Classic Era, you go on the White Main cluster or the Mancrit cluster, every single zone is loaded with people leveling, and that's just on Classic Era. So I think that is, you know, like for vanilla, I wouldn't say it's the most popular version of the game. Absolutely not. I think it's been proven time and time again that Wrath is the most popular version of Classic that ever came out in China, in NA, everywhere. But I do think vanilla, when you look at the logs, it's very skewed because there's a lot of people who play vanilla not even to raid. I think that a lot, like I would say like half of the people on the game don't even hit cap, and they just level characters over and over again. And it's like part of the culture over there.
Well, yeah, I think that's the most important part, is that that's what Camelot also in the future has to nail. It can't just be based on raid logs. Like personally, I think if you base your game on just the end game, I think your game dies within the first couple months. If it's just end game purpose and that's the sole focus of hitting max level right away, raiding right away, mid maxing right away, burning the fun out right away,
That's
and
what's
then
ruined,
logging.
right?
Yeah, I personally hate that aspect of it. It's why like I appreciate a lot of like what the RP scene at least does in the, like hardcore WoW. I think hardcore WoW for me was my favorite thing that I ever watched personally. I think hardcore WoW is probably my most enjoyable thing that I genuinely enjoy from any version of WoW currently right now. Even from the day it existed and it was a thought to the day it ended its like last previous event with Grays for Days and all them. I personally like what they do in terms of like the idea of it, because it's not about you getting the end gear all the time. Not everybody needs the participation trophy. It's about you just having fun in the world of Azeroth. And I hope Camelot focuses more on the world of you just living there rather than saying, oh, well, you know, I play Friday, I log off. All right, see you next Friday, guys. I don't need to hang out with anybody in the Discord and consult with anyone. Like, you don't care. Like, you're just logging and just peace out, you know? I think that's really bad. That's really bad. And it's why retail Andes have a much more funner time with their version of the game, because they don't need to just log off one day. If they want to go back and do old content and just have fun and fucking, you know, one shot Ragnaros for the fuck of it, they get to do that because the game has always been continuing with constant updates and development. Now, yeah, you could say what you want. There's some, you know, nicks and cranks over there that are not perfect. Retail is definitely not a solved solution, but I think it just gives people more stuff to do over there in retail. And then you come back to Classic. Once you're in a raid log environment, it's very hard to sell the game after that. And I think Camelot needs to prove it needs to open the solution to everybody. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. But here, just before you say there, what you say with Grays for Days events dead, the dwarfs are still going. We're going into Molten Core.
Oh no, yeah, that's a W. I'm just saying just for Grays.
Yeah,
I'm just saying just for Grays. I'm not saying for anyone else. I'm just saying like
them boys died.
Yeah, he moves to another server, whatever. All I'm saying is that the purpose is that when you look at it from a raid lock perspective, you can get yourself in a really down mood about it, and I don't think that's the good way of looking at it. I personally think it's about having a thriving world that sells new and vanilla and retail players in this new version of the game that wants to keep people a reason to keep going, and it has to have more longevity. It can't be sod longevity where you announce Scarlet Enclave ending within 3 or 4 weeks of the raid being out. Like, that was a horrible thing that they did, and I'll never forgive them for that part. But I think it needs to have expression through all the zones to keep you wanting to stay online. I personally, when I log on my PC and I want to play a video game, I don't want to have to choose an indie game. I don't want to have to choose some other FPS or whatever game that I want to play, even though I love them. But I want to choose to play WoW. Give me a reason to stay on to WoW. Give me a reason to want to continuously pay for my sub. Give me that reason. And that's I love World of Warcraft.
But you're not. Like but the point is, you're not going to get that. So, like,
yeah,
my point right at the start was the fact that more the classes than the content. So it don't matter when you look at. So when you look now, you're looking at logs. So when we look at Ironforge Pro, we're looking at logs of Classic 2019 through to, well, all the way to now 2026. You know, and you're looking at Anniversary, but you are looking at people who are actively PvPing, people that are actively doing raids. Whereas we do have the actual subscriber numbers, which I'll put on screen now. where
Really?
it's kind of proven. Like this is not raider numbers; these are subscriber numbers that they only went up. You know, in vanilla, yeah, obviously they start low. People are like coming in, and then it only went up and up and up and up and up to RAF, and it stayed kind of steady even into Kata, and then slowly went down. But it was still those TBC and RAF numbers that are the most, I would say, important. I would kind of write off RAF Kata, because it's like, well, they've gone from RAF where they're at a peak into Kata. It was only ever going to go down unless Kata was absolutely phenomenal, which we all know suffered from content drought, had major systems that changed. But when you look at TBC and RAF, it was always climbing and getting new people. But these are subscriber numbers, not raider numbers. These are back in the days where they would announce how like they had fucking 10 million subscribers. But it still follows the same trend. No matter how many times they re-release it, from 2019 to the end of RAF, it followed the same trend. Anniversary is following the same trend. Like it's always the same. So they know that they sort of hit a sweet spot. End of TBC, beginning of RAF, maybe end of RAF, like whatever,
Definitely not the end.
where
Definitely not the end.
yeah, but again, when I say end, I don't mean end as in content. Like I am talking classes, like the
Gameplay,
character
design,
you're
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
is the most important.
Yeah,
When
for
you
sure.
think about how boring the classes were at the start, I played in 2004 in vanilla. Like in 2004, the classes were shit compared to 2005.
Oh yeah.
As the classes got more entertaining to play, the player base grew.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
You're
So
talking about
do they
the
want to
older
go
days of the talents.
backwards? Yeah. The old talents were shit.
Yeah, it
Like
was horrible.
the classes were
It didn't make sense.
yeah. They made no sense,
It was really
and
bad. I
it was
remember
all just horrific. So, like, if you look at it from Blizzard's perspective, like, yes, they want to please the people that love vanilla for what it was, but are we really going to get classes where you just press one button?
I hope not.
Like,
No,
are we really
I
going to get
agree with
talents
that.
that make
I
no sense?
I think that the actual player skill required to play your characters is certainly going to be higher. But it's changes like, getting 1,000, like threat changes, things like that. I don't think they're going to be in this game. Like the Wrath threats too. It's not gonna be like Wrath threat. It's gonna be more TBC threat.
Oh God.
Classic threat.
I don't know. I mean, honestly,
What do you mean? Is in more skill-based tank and like CC in and sort of like not you can't just run in, press consecrate. I've got everything. Yeah, I'm going AFK.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
you're not gonna be able to run through a whole dungeon type of situation.
Yeah, that would be shit. I'm with you. That would be a misstep.
I think that would be a misstep too. But even like as a person like from like the SOD perspective, I really liked how the way like tanks operated like in Season of Discovery. I feel like tanks were doing just a fine job. If you had a tank that knew what he was doing and they were holding the boss, it wasn't like a TBC issue where like, oh God, you can't taunt the boss because this was designed in 2006 and we just decided non-tauntable bosses. So now you have to split it. Like I don't hate that aspect. Don't get me wrong, but you have to even understand too from like a dev perspective side of things. Even the devs at that time, like they knew that certain decisions that they made weren't perfect even in TBC, from gameplay mechanic, from lore understanding, from the world design with attunements. Why did they get rid of attunements? Like if they loved that idea, why didn't it just stay into like the later phases? They totally say, okay, we might have messed up with the SSC TK then to high Joel and attunement, so let's just scratch these ideas later on. Yeah, but they decided to change it. You know what I'm saying? Like these are decisions that they made personally. Now obviously everyone has a favorite version of the patch that you love. I personally think more than anything, if you just have 20 to 40 friends, man, and which is kind of crazy. I'm not saying that everyone has 20 to 40 friends.
40 friends. I'm looking
40 friends is like kind of nuts. So let me back up a little bit. All I'm saying is that if you have a guild, I'll say it better like that, of people that trust each other, you like each other, you enjoy each other's time and company, you really can make any version of the game in WoW your favorite memory and your favorite version of that patch, of that time, of that point. I've played even the most shittiest games sometimes where I'm like, what the fuck am I on this game for? This game is dog shit. And I'm playing with my friends, and it's just because I'm playing with 10 or 20 of my friends or mates, and we're just hanging out. And I'm like, bro, we're having the best time, even though this is a shit game. You know what I mean? Because that's the best thing. Like, have you ever had that feeling back in the day when you go to Blockbuster, any old heads, right? You go to Blockbuster, and it's like, let's watch the shittiest B-rate movie I've ever seen in my life. Let's watch that dumb movie that sucks, but it just brings back good memories. And that's my point. You play games not for, oh, this is the best patch. This is when Warrior was insane. This is when Mage went bonkers. This is when Death Knight was broken. You play the version of the patch that was memorable. And I think that's why people have a good time, is because they surround themselves to have good people around them. So any version of the game, even though if it was shit to you, could have been their favorite moment. So I think come Camelot, even if it's good, or even if like vanilla Andes don't like it because it's not 112, 111, 110, or if retail Andes don't like it because, oh my god, why is there no Mythic Plus time trial from Dave and Buster's that I can do every week? It doesn't matter. It's about you just spending your time with people that make the moments the best of it, because it's the people that matter. It's not really about always the quality of what they put into it, which for me personally, it's I will say, as a selfish reason, it is kind of a bit of both, but I do think people's moments together matter more than what's in the game itself.
I think it was really nice. I feel like that's where we should end. That was really nice. But I'm going to end on a negative instead and say the game still needs to be good enough to... It still needs to be good enough to keep people around to make those memories. No, well, you know what I mean, though? As in, like... it's selfish. It's got to be good enough to be able to draw the crowd, for you to be able to find friends, to then get everybody to do things.
Of course.
Which is exactly what Camelot's going to be. Yeah. So you're right.
Yeah.
As in, everyone's going to want to play it.
Absolutely.
But I do think
Mage has to press more than 2 buttons, and I'm quitting.
I think that this Camelot is going to break the records that we saw in Wrath Classic. I do. No matter what it is. I think it's going to be that popular.
You think we're going to get more than 12 mil?
No. Wrath Classic. Classic.
Sorry,
12 mil? I don't think those 12 mil days exist for MMOs anymore. I don't think that's a thing. I just don't. I don't think it's as popular. Imagine that.
We're going to end this with predictions then, because we've kind of touched on most of the stuff that we wanted to talk about, and I will go first. I rarely go first. I normally let you all go, and then but I'm going to go first, and I think if Camelot, let me even specify a month. I'm going to say February 2027. I think Camelot on Iron Forge Pro only tracks raiders. By then, we may not be quite there yet. By the time we're raiding and the first census goes out, I reckon we will be around 1.2 million.
1.2 million.
That's a bold fucking number.
It is.
Right there. I think we will have 1.2 million unique raiders. That's how big I think Camelot's going to be. I think it's going to be bigger than Blizzard even think it's going to be.
I agree. I think it's going to be bigger than Blizzard. I think you're certainly going to see a couple like 100k Andes on Twitch and stuff. Just like in 2019, for sure. I don't know about the actual number itself, but it's going to be massive for like that first hype. But
well, you better start thinking, because we're fucking guessing, big boy. I've said 1.2 million.
Fine, I'm gonna go. I'm a pessimist, so I'm gonna go lower than you. I'm gonna say 1 mil. How's that?
I mean, bearing in mind, let me just say the highest in Classic was Wrath. At its peak was 626k.
What was Molten Core?
That is the highest. Molten Core was like fucking fuck all, like 200k, less than what we do in TBC.
I'm gonna say 200k.
We're talking first census, right?
Yeah.
Just the first census. I'm gonna say 500k.
Yeah.
I mean, like the first.
Real
number.
It
It might be 4 weeks. Yeah, it might be 4 weeks into the raids opening or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's set it up. I think it's going to be as big as 1.2 million.
I think it's gonna be the same as Molten Core, 200k.
I say 500K.
200k. That's a big difference. 500k. So you're saying it's going to be about as big as Ulduar in classic RAF.
Yeah, something like that.
500k.
I think it'll climb.
Yeah, classic RAF Ulduar was
I think it'll climb as well.
540k.
Because you got to remember,
Never start
if
off
they're
at a
bringing in new people, dude, these people aren't going to be speed leveling and stuff. It's going to take them like months to like. I guess
not
we
even
don't
gonna know
even know
what
what
raid
it's going to be
means.
like, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm giving like a 4-week, a 4-week period from like when people start raiding.
You're
I
gonna
don't
give
mean,
people 4 weeks to catch up, and the boys have been playing the game for 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, and like that's
Well,
my problem.
No,
though.
because I'm more talking about like you got to remember retail. The
You think
retail
retail
players
Andes
are going to
gonna
be
come
doing
back?
this. I think every fucking retail guild that is worth an ounce of piss are going to be playing Camelot.
Yeah, I think a
Well,
lot of there was a lot of retail players I played with, even in SOD, that played retail that I even played retail with. So like there was other players that I met that played retail and Season of Discovery and Classic Era. I think more people play all the versions of the game than maybe you guys think, and maybe you guys already know.
Well,
But even
retail
agree.
definitely.
I agree.
even you guys have played all the versions. So like if it's just us 4 guys who play multiple versions, how about the entire world of Blizzard players? You know what I mean? I'm sure that everybody's played multiple versions, but
Yeah,
I
but
think
what I'm getting at, Tello, is I think the big fucking retail guilds with
Oh, you're
thousands
talking-
of people
like
playing
the
push
reason
for,
we play
push for world first.
Oh yeah, like
they're
Team
gonna be
Liquid
playing
and like
Camelot.
all those guys. Yeah,
Liquid, Echo,
Yeah, for
they
sure.
will all be on Camelot.
the
No,
reason
for
we
sure.
play multiple WoWs is because retail's shit.
Well, no, I mean, well, shit for some and good for others, but I get it. Like I'm not trying to pick the side of saying retail is hard. Because at the end of the day, I didn't play through Midnight. I heard Midnight had better things, but I'm not gonna like go full into the conversation of that. But I do think more than anything, if the game once again is just based on the speed level, get to the raid log state of the game, I think personally that's going to hurt the longevity of the game, and the numbers are going to get really hurt in reflecting that. I do think in giving you guys a number, I personally think it will climb to, I'll say around 850, 900K. I say 850, around 900K. They'll be a very popular thing. But if it gets to that point of the game where now Team Liquid and, Envy or whoever else, whatever other team that's out there, I don't know all the names.
Go.
Whatever, Octowal jumps into the fray, new challenger approaches. I don't care. Like, I think if it,
table, boys.
yeah, I think if it gets
It's
to
about
that point,
holding them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's about holding them, and it's like if that number just gets figured out, and now these teams come in and they just defeat the content. Now that tells me is like, oh man, there's a new cap, there's a new ceiling. That sucks.
Well, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's
That
gonna
can't be
happen.
helped.
Don't get
That
me.
can't be
Yeah,
helped,
but then again, for me, it's like I don't like that approach though. I don't like the fact that that's gonna happen because when I look at it from OSRS's perspective, that doesn't happen right off the rip for those guys.
If there's even a beta, there's gonna be a rested XP till whatever the cap was.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure. But that's what I'm saying.
You
Is
know?
like I think that mentality for design and development needs to change. If this game, if it's what we're saying, is not seasonal, if this is not a seasonal game, why would you want your content figured out within 3 weeks?
But it will. It's not that they want to. Even in SOD, they couldn't protect the masses from data mining and stuff. Like it happens. Like what was it, Zorgox Y or whatever that showed all the runes and stuff. Remember, the perfect talent points, and it's just It's
Yeah,
not to do with the development. It's just
No,
it's just the
and
players
once
do it.
again, if that's like what we're following as a player base, right? Like if we're just following the theme that we understand that WoW will forever be a theme park MMO without horizontal vertical progression or whatever, and it's always that theme park ideal that we strategize on the whiteboard, then all right, then that's what you guys are going to get. And for me personally, I would say those numbers from the 850, 900 to the 1.2 to the 500, whatever you guys are predicting here, you're going to see a steady decline a couple months after
I
that.
agree.
And then when there's a patch, just like Scotty said before, this happens all the time at WoW. Boom, bam, bop. The same 3 things happen all the time. New patch, spike. Content gets figured out, very slow burn. Everyone's saying the game's dead. New patch comes out. Oh my God, game's alive again. Now the game's dead again.
You're
That's
gonna
what's
just
gonna go,
always
yeah.
have that, and that's just the cycle of WoW. I want that cycle to change, is what I'm saying. One day, where it's not just about the raid log. It's not about going to Ironforge. Don't get me wrong. I love using Ironforge too. I'm just saying the fact that I just think there needs to be more longevity. If Camelot or whatever, if this even is C plus or whatever the hell it is, if it's truthfully not seasonal, why would you want the content to be
I
figured
think
out anymore?
I personally think that cycle is going to change.
But that's what I want.
I'm always so negative about everything, but I truly think that cycle is going to change. I think it's going to be, yes, you raid log, but there's going to be incentives to do other things. Maybe not on your
Yes,
main
I agree.
character, but there'll be incentives to do hardcore. No, he hates that. He hates incentives to do hardcore. But there'll be incentives to do hardcore. There'll be incentives to go out and level a character you ain't leveled before. There'll be incentives to level a race you haven't leveled before.
I agree.
So I honestly think it's gonna.
That'd be perfect.
They're gonna be smart enough to realize we hold the carrot like in front of you, and you're gonna chase it at all times. Like whether you're raiding, whether you're gold farming, whatever you're doing, but Blizzard will be in control.
No, that's the best feeling when you know progression is not only just capped at the raid perspective, but it's endless in the world. And we and Hammer talked about that as well when we were. I don't know if we probably did discuss on the podcast, but remember Hammer? I was saying like the fact that like you get achievements and screenshots when you get that achievement, and it's like you're always endlessly going for that. What I don't care what it is, a title. If it's some type of cosmetic for 30 minutes, like they had in SOD, where you can put on this cosmetic to show off your achievement that you got. It's like a 30-minute thing. It doesn't ruin anything. It doesn't hurt PvP. It gets turned off when you PvP or whatever. It's just like, these little things to make it feel that you are accomplishing small little goals. It doesn't need to be long goals.
Think about this, Tello. Think about this. If someone said to me right now, if you get a character to 60 on Era or wherever on the hardcore server, if you get a character to 60 in hardcore, your account will get 5% more XP. I'd do it.
Oh yeah,
it's only 5% XP, but if I knew on TBC anniversary the next character I level is going to level 5% faster than someone else, for me getting a hardcore character to 60, I'm sold. I'm in. That's the sort of shit we're going to see in Camelot. Mark my words.
That would be sick.
It's
I'm
possible.
in. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I don't think those are bad ideas. I like I said, it just
bollocks.
All I'm asking is just give us a reason to stay with the game. Give us not us as creators. I can give a fuck all about the creator part. I'm talking about me as a gamer coming home from a day of work, coming home from school, coming home to explore something and fuck around with my friends. Give me a reason to fuck around and find out. That's all I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? What happened?
All that exists now, right? So you've got hardcore, you do Mythic Plus all day. Every day
of course. I'm talking about the conversation of Camelot. I'm not saying about any current content. I can go on hardcore right now with my friends. We can all get drunk and smacked out of our minds on a weekend, and we don't know where we are in Loch Madon. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we could totally lose ourselves. Is all I'm saying. But like, I'm talking about Camelot sense. Like, if you want that game truly to survive and you're telling me it's not going to be seasonal, give longevity to the content. Don't have it capped because Team Liquid decided to join in 1 week. It's like, yo, we figured this out. This is the meta. Now everybody knows the meta. Now the game's dead because now everyone knows the meta. Why would you want to pick anything else that's outside the meta? The WoW gamer has evolved after years. It's no longer 2004, 2005. We don't have access to Discord and all these other websites. Now the gamer understands. Go to YouTube, look the next S tier.
Yeah, as long as no patches constantly change stuff, it should be fine, right?
Imagine if it was even broke down, where it's like you complete Dead Mines on a hardcore character in Camelot. Any character you level now, whenever you're in Dead Mines, you get 5% more XP.
That's badass. I like that.
It's just
little achievements that unlock perks.
It's a little achievement that unlock perks for the rest of your account. Exactly.
I could get behind that.
Yeah, for sure.
So the further you get, it's go on, Sarah.
No, I'm just saying I agree with you. I like that. I think that you go through Dead Mines, like you're the conqueror of Dead Mines. Like you've defeated it so many times now that they just, I don't know, you go in the instance by yourself, just like with SM with the Ashringer, like they bow to you or whatever. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is like I see what you're getting at, and I like it. I think that's cool. Like incentives for dungeons, and now Dead Mines is not the same 80 dead mines I've done in a row, but things are changing as I keep going through them because like I've conquered it so many times, you know. So I
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
or different rewards or incentives.
And I think that's what we'll see, and maybe not at launch. You know, like we'll see some of it at launch, but you can imagine that as time goes on, they'll build on. Yeah, they'll build on everything
Yeah.
because trust me, they're like Classic Plus / Camelot, whatever you want to call it. It is gonna be the only version of Classic that they put any time into. There's going to be retail. There's going to be Classic, and this will be Classic.
I hope it is. I hope it's got
hashing out
constant
everything
development.
else won't matter. It
I
will,
hope it has
100%.
constant development. Because the way they did Sword and splitting their time between Sword and Kata was atrocious. And if that's the attention we're going to get in Camelot, they might as well just give up.
Well, I mean, just look at TBC. I mean, TBC's fucking
The state of it,
garbage. Yeah, it's just fucking terrible.
Yeah, I just my biggest fear is like I just hope. Obviously, once again, we're ranting a little bit, but I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think that the separation of the games matter too much. They're all under one umbrella, like we all talked about earlier. They don't care so much in that sense because it's all money. You know, like they're making money
Yep.
as any ways possible. Even your biggest content creator doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things of where their money flow is going. They just look at it as we have a constant branch of people playing our game. Depending on how we approach Camelot, whether it's seasonal or not seasonal, or it is longevity, I think it will affect on how many people actually play that game. And you'll still consistently have retail players playing retail, players dabbing with Camelot, and your forever Andy classic people living on that graph, like we saw, recycling fresh
Yeah.
every time, nonstop.
What I'm saying
You
is
know?
the dividing of the whatever franchise, whatever, splits development time. And
No, it
then
does. You're right. You're right.
They end
You're
up giving
100%
more
right.
attention to one thing and less to another. And then for someone like me who's playing both Sword and Kata, you could literally feel like, oh my god, we got all this new stuff for Sword, and then Kata just falls off.
No,
cliff.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If the content is seasonal, I can see them easily taking people off the team to work on something else. Because no matter what, every 10 years things change, new ideas want to be evolved. You're always chasing the next big thing every 10 years, like
No,
even technology. You know,
I get that, but like retail doesn't seem to have that issue. Like retail doesn't bottom off a cliff whenever Classic Plus is coming in. What I'm saying is for Classic Plus, I want something that I don't feel that way. You know, I don't feel like their resources have left.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you're right, and if it's not seasonal, I don't want it to feel that the team is leaving for Cataclysm again, or the team's leaving for something. I don't like that. I hated that when that happened in SOD. So I want consistency and updates and patches and longevity, and also content creators feeling happy again, making content on World of Warcraft and feeling passionate about what they're putting out because it's new stuff. Personally, I think that's
yeah.
right.
That will be the fun
what
part.
we
That will be
miss?
the best.
So something big that we miss, as maybe as minor as it sounds, but it makes a big difference, is that week to week change. That's what
Yeah,
retail
dude.
get.
Yeah.
You know, a class that's overpowered, it gets tuned down. These other classes get some attention. Those tweaks week in, week out, like that you can't even appreciate it until you're living it. You know, like that's what I miss about retail. I don't miss retail as in the content and the fucking hamster wheel of it all and the filling up your vault 18 times. I don't miss that. What I miss is like, man, what have they done to my monk this week? Like that is so priceless.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
We
a
will just
horrible
love it.
feeling, which is kind of the
true.
The
which is
of
good.
Course,
it's a nice gamble.
Yeah,
but that's like that's the gamble of it. It's like it's more about the effort that at least they're trying to make balance. You know, and obviously balance and Blizzard are really two words that don't go well. But at the same time, they understand that they even said it. Like Ian's talked about this. Like we're not aiming for perfect balance because you know why? It doesn't exist. There'll never be perfect balance. But what you can do is through the months change the way the player feels every now and then.
Absolutely. That's what it is. It's not about that. It's about feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's feeling. And I think even with Camelot, that's a crazy one to add. I mean, we didn't talk about it, but like
it
I
makes
do think
it makes
if
the world alive again. You know, it revitalizes everything.
No, for sure. I'm saying like if they even dared to touch that with Camelot, I mean, then again, if they do that, then that's truthfully proving what Scotty said is true in saying that this is not a vanilla experience. Because vanilla, there is no such thing as balance. It's it's 34 warriors and a paladin or a shaman and a priest
Well,
and
we don't
maybe a
want that.
warlock. But
We
you
don't
get what
want
I'm
that. Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. Like if you dare bring that retail approach into Camelot, not saying that in a bad way.
You're
but
gonna
if you
upset
do,
someone.
you're
I know
going-
what you're saying. I agree.
Yes, exactly. And now Camelot now has this thing where like, oh shit, 1 week shamans are insane, or a month, and now next week they're not insane, and it's gonna
But
affect that
the
too.
thing is, though,
if they did that.
in original vanilla, when it was live content, nobody thought warriors were even good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, well,
it
you're
was
talking
that way in vanilla.
yeah, like
in
you're talking like
vanilla,
pre-vanilla patch, like before the
Yeah.
talent changes. Yeah, oh,
like
no,
throughout like
it was a
1.1, 1.2, whatever.
yeah,
like,
it was
the
bad.
classes were constantly changing and different, and it was only that 1.12 where like it was like, oh, that warriors are the best, and it just got stuck there forever.
Yeah, we just it's solved. It's a solved game.
Yeah,
What
it's
we
solved,
don't
yeah.
want is a solved game. And exactly
True.
what Nolte said is right. It's like, yeah, Warriors weren't the best all the way through.
Until it was
Sometimes they were the
figured out.
best. Sometimes they weren't. Yeah, like it changed the same way retail changes.
Yeah.
Like if you was to take the final patch of Dragonflight, you know what's going to be the best at the end of Dragonflight. But that don't mean it was the best at the start of Dragonflight. We've done that with vanilla for fucking years. But it don't
25.
mean it
Yeah.
was the best game.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. If Camelot is truthfully a fresh idea with longevity and things are not always just figured out off the rip, then you truly have something beautiful that takes at least a couple weeks. Hell, even if people are not that smart, but I'm not doubting them nowadays with how fucking crazy the internet is. But at least a month or so to really get into the nitty gritty and finding now there's new armor pieces, new itemization, things change, set bonuses, talents change with different pieces of equipment, class quests, whatever. Now you're truly like getting into the meat and potatoes of like, man, this game has something more to it than just, oh, I need my
Yeah.
onslaught girdle from Molten Core.
Need some teeth. Some
Exactly.
Oh, I got my Ashkani of
Oh.
the Brotherhood from BWL. Oh, I got my healing trinket from main Q. You know what I mean? Or ATS, it's all figured out. Like, that's all I'm saying. If you get to that point of the game, my God, I'm telling you boys, the game will have longevity like no one has ever seen before. And there is a small percentage, and I'm doubting, but a small percentage that this game meets anywhere in the world where OSRS has its terms of quality of longevity for WoW players instead. It's not OSRS at all, but in terms of longevity and quality and updates, Camelot can be that thing. It's very possible, but I'm willing to doubt it a little bit. And if it's seasonal, then it kind of ruins it for me personally.
I don't want seasonal. I want patches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's just seasonal like SOD and they work on
seasonal.
other shit, then I know this game has a ceiling and there's no growth.
Oh, Paraguay just knocked Germany out.
Oh my
Yes!
God,
Really?
that's crazy.
Oh my God, holding back the cheers while Tello was talking was so difficult.
I'm sorry.
That was literally one of the greatest things I've ever seen, and
Oh,
trying to
dude.
be quiet while it was happening.
My dad's gonna
But
love
look, we've gone far over,
Yeah,
so
we
I do apologise. But that was a good chat. What I do want to do starting next week is like the sort of discussion point that was going to talk about with classes. We didn't quite really get round to that exactly, so we may touch on that next week. But from now, literally until Camelot launches or it's announced, I want us to do a little bit every week of what we'd like to see from different areas of the game, while being fairly realistic, as in talking about what we want to see from raids. And that might take an hour and a half. It might be a full episode on just what we want to see from raids.
Yeah, I can draw some
and we
stuff
can
out too
really get
myself.
into the
Yeah.
nitty gritty. And what we want to see from individual classes, and just we'll start really spitballing stuff, because I know the devs watch this, like 100%. I know they watch it, so they might look at some of it and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We might steer a little bit of Camelot You know, because I trust me, I know they do. They watch it in ×2 speed because they say they ain't got time to watch 2.5 hours of a podcast.
This is a long one,
when it's
dude.
meant to be an hour and a
Well,
half.
yeah,
This has been a
I
long
think it's
one.
because mainly because Camelot. You know, all the leaks. You have to think like we didn't have the opportunity to shoot last week because we had some days off, and people were sick. But I think it's because Camelot is just this news is massive, and it's only gonna get
Yeah.
more crazier. I think throughout the weeks as we go, as we get closer to BlizzCon, and then the truth is all revealed. You know, what is. I'm ready for that. I can't wait to see what happens at BlizzCon. It's either gonna be the biggest laugh show or the biggest like holy shit. You know, we'll see.
Yeah. And like you say, we've just put 2 episodes into one and cut 30 minutes off. So, you know, we win. Okay, but we're
Yeah.
gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it there. Next week, I would say from now until BlizzCon, most of the stuff we talk about is going to be Classic Plus. But until next week, Hammer Dance, where can they find you?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/hammerdance and youtube.com/hammerdancegaming.
McNulty?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, all under McNulty Gaming.
And hello, Jay Tello.
Exactly what Scotty said. You could find me there. Hello, Jay Tello. The J is silent for reasons. Don't ask. But thank you. Much love. And on YouTube. Yeah, only on YouTube.
And he does, by the way, just anyone who listens to this last bit and they're like, I don't want to go and see those knobheads. I'm too busy looking at McNulty. Go and watch Hello Jay Tello on YouTube because some of his skits that he does literally has me spitting my whiskey all over the screen. They are really, really good. So I do encourage you to go and have a look because they are
A
good.
little guy. A small fish in a big sea.
They're
fat,
fantastic. They're
very fat.
fantastic. So keep doing them.
Yeah. Thank you,
I mean, I'm also very fat, so
I'm
I
like 8
empathise with the
times
fat
bigger.
guys.
True, very true. I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah.
No, always. And if you want to see the podcast streamed live, kick.com/ScottyJ. And that's it. So until next time, boys, next week, where we're not missing a week, we are doing next week. If any of you are sick again, you better be fucking dying because you are going to be here. Cool.
True.
We'll see you on Monday.